Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? What is up? I want to say thank you guys for tuning in and waiting. Um is it really lower? Like, what is this? Why is it always something when I'm like streaming to like YouTube? Why? Um okay. So, uh guys, I really want to say thank you for waiting patiently. Um I am going to actually put on I should go get my headphones so I don't have to go get them. Oh, well, too late. It automatically goes to the other scene. I still have to like get up anyway to put on my light. That's about it. Because it looks kind of dark and stuff. Um, excuse me. But yeah. We are going to attempt something today. Especially over on YouTube. On Twitch, I know I'll be fine. But just know that if you are viewing on Twitch, ads are enabled on Twitch because that's the only way to make some type of income over on Twitch. And if you do not want ads in your viewing on Twitch, the easiest thing to do is to send over a Twitch Prime sub, which means that if you are part of Amazon Prime, and if you send that, it's free for you. Like, you don't have to pay anything. You're not having to, send money directly like that to get a sub. The Twitch Prime sub helps you out, helps me out, and it's a win-win combination. Or if you want to, it is September over on Twitch, and you can gift some subs at the half price. Or you could also go through my membership over at Fourth Wall and get an extra discount to send over more subs over on Twitch if that's what you like. What else? What up? What up? I was gonna say what else? What up, Brandon? This time we are gonna be talking about a bunch of stuff, meaning that we're gonna be talking about what do you call it? AEW's pacing problem. We're gonna watch some Jim Cornette. We're gonna talk about basically a lot of things about AEW, and I know that people are tired of talking about AEW. We can even talk a little bit about what's happening on the IWC just because. But first, let me put on like my extra light and get my headphones because I feel kind of weird that I still look like there's not enough light in a way. But then again, I still have not set up everything fully so that way I don't have to deal with like being in my living room. But that's just the way it is. Give me a second. Let me go get my stuff. And very random, I don't know why or how my laces are like so long on my sneakers. Like, I don't know how or why. The only thing that we're going to be doing differently is to be watching the AEW clips, and let's just hope that we'll be okay. We are protected under copyright laws because we are transforming it into something different. So that's what I would say. But yeah, I have yet to tweet out that we are live. By the way, guys, if you are just tuning in for like housekeeping stuff, just know that if you hit that like button, it sends the YouTube video out into the YouTube atmosphere, and it definitely helps get more people in here. We can have a better conversation with other wrestling fans that are on YouTube searching for videos, and it just helps out the algorithm. It does. But yes, I have not said a word outside of like my Discord and people who follow my channel and stuff like that. I used to work for WWE. Like, that doesn't mean anything, dude. Like, trust me, I'm not afraid of the people that want to yell for the sake of yelling because they don't know how to tell somebody like straight up, like, all right, cool, you got your opinion, but like, let me push that back a little bit with some facts, or just be like, hey, did you ever think about it this way? Hey, let me give you my perspective on this. The only things that we're talking about for like the pacing problem is that like we have a tag team match coming up at AEW Grand Slam, which is over here. And Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. That's the pacing problem right now. Like I said before, I've never wanted AEW to go out of business, but we can't be afraid to point out the issues that is going on within the company. And that is what I will continue to do, because I don't want them to go out of business either. There was a very interesting question that was posed in someone else's tweet about, does AEW still need to be around? And we're going to be talking about that. And that might be very, very uncomfortable for you. And if it's very uncomfortable for you, then there are other YouTubers to watch that would just praise the product and be like, oh my God, this is so awesome. These are dream matches. But it's happening way, way, way too fast. Okay? Sometimes a dream match should have a little bit more of a build, a little bit more of a suspense kind of feel, not just like, oh, 5 years is coming up. Oh, you're a former WWE wrestler. Oh, get on in here. You get a title match. Like, no, that's not, that shouldn't work that way. I've seen that so many times before on the indies, and like, it doesn't do anything. Yes, I appreciate that. Lion 2012. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. He says, I'm hoping it's a he. I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? Lion 2012 says, Marie Shadows is what the wrestling community needs: intelligent discussions and tells the truth. You're 100% right. I will definitely take that as a compliment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much. But yeah, I haven't even tweeted this out. And what I want to do before we jump into anything is to let you guys know what's going on with us building this wonderful community that we have. I could currently say right now that we are halfway there to get into the YouTube partner program, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for that. I cannot thank you enough for that. We are halfway there to get into the YouTube partnership program, and I can't wait until we do. I want to take you guys around, give another tour about what's new in the Discord, so that way you guys can end up joining the Discord if you want to, and like talk about wrestling and like the rules and expectations of the Discord that I created by way of help with the wonderful YouTube chat. And then also all the new stuff in my merchandise store and my Fourth Wall. If you guys don't know about Fourth Wall is in my opinion, a better place than like Patreon. Is similar to Patreon. It is for creators by creators, that you can have your merchandise, your memberships, any kind of donations, and you can definitely tell the world who you are by using Fourth Wall. And I highly recommend Fourth Wall for content creators to use. They do not take a lot when it comes to their cut of the share of the money that you make. So that's also a good thing too, because sometimes Patreon takes a lot, especially if you want to do Patreon plus like merch. So Patreon has a higher percentage of like them taking more money from you. So it's kind of like really, it doesn't make sense in the end. Fourth Wall doesn't really do that. Fourth Wall takes about like what? I think like 10% of like whatever you make. And that's about it. But they really do help creators shine and stuff. Unfortunately, most people don't want to hear the truth, especially wrestling fans. You could apply that to like anyone and everyone basically in 2024 in the modern era, that everyone has become so coddled and wants like a safe space. And, there should be like safe spaces sometimes depending on what it is. But for the most part, how you ever going to grow if you're never going to hear the truth? And how you ever going to grow if like you don't confront the uncomfortableness of it all. Which, by the way, if you want to buy some merch and check out the Fourth Wall account, like I've been telling you guys, it just dropped in chat. So if you click on the link and head over to Fourth Wall while listening to me, you guys can see what I'm all about. You guys can see my background. For anybody that is new watching me, I used to work for WWE back in 2018. I used to go to wrestling school as well, so I know my way around the ring for like a little bit, and then now I do podcasting, live streaming, media press for MOW, and create a lot of wonderful stuff not only here on YouTube but also on Twitch. And also even on Substack. Substack now has a live feature too that I've been wanting to try and test out. I think I should show you guys the newsletter as well because I haven't done that in a very, very, very long time. So, you know, um, while I do agree with your comments, sometimes a safe space can help somebody understand something that happened to them, you know, like, sorry about that. Um, so for example, right, if something bad or traumatic happens, think of that safe space as like a therapy session to be like, let's talk about it, let's calm you down, let's understand what happened. So like I consider that to be very beneficial versus like a safe space where it's all the same echo chambers and stuff and all the same talking points and nobody can say anything new or disagree and stuff like that. But I do agree that most of the time people do need a dose of reality check and the real world. And the real world is not always going to bend to what people want. But the louder that we push up the voices that don't really care, you know, that is what makes everything a little bit lopsided, is that the more you push voices that truly don't care and all they care about is brownie points, um, uh, and all they care about is brownie points and being like an activist when they're not really an activist because they don't know what being an activist really is. You know, those are the ones that really don't care about the product or about anything that it's, you know, that we love. All right, cool. Lion 2012 has confirmed that he is a man. It's just that, you know, I don't always want to make an assumption, but I guess because I'm, you know, I'm obviously a female, that I automatically like name stuff like male or man, you know, that's the first thing that I think of most of the time. So yeah, thanks for letting me know, man. Thanks for letting me know. I have yet to tweet this out because I have not gotten the what do you call it, the thumbnail. By the way, I just want to um is this not a really good thumbnail for today's topic? Is this not really a good thumbnail? It's one of the best thumbnails, okay? I like making thumbnails, and I do everything on my own. So this gets the point across. And this is what I really want to talk about, is that there is a pacing problem, but everyone online would be like, oh my God, Tony, it's so great to put like fire emojis and stuff like that, right? And it's like, how can you say this is great when, first of all, Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher should not be getting a tag team title shot at this very moment? Is the Young Bucks doing this because maybe their time is near and they want to retire or something? Like, I don't know. Or it's just that they have to fill up their dates, and this was one of the dates that they have to fill up before they like just stay home and like miss AEW. And then all of a sudden Ricochet over here, an ex-WWE employee, an ex-WWE wrestler, comes over here and just automatically gets a title shot against Will to promote the 5-year anniversary of AEW. And it's like, he got 3 matches when Ospreay was like, yo, just keep getting your wins up. Keep getting your wins up. And it's like, okay, 3 matches. He got his supposed wins. I face you now because I went to Tony Khan and asked him for a title shot, which is like very reminiscent of like what WWE does. And yeah, I'll say it here that, you know, I'm very disappointed in Ricochet. You know, I wasn't really a 100% fan of Ricochet. I just, you know, I see him and like he's just there, but he would have became more interesting if he would have stayed with WWE, came back. Like I said this a couple of live streams ago, that if he would have came back to WWE, go through the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble and challenge Braun Breaker, even though like that would be breaking tradition because we know that the winner ends up getting the world title shot, the big title shot. But I think that there's a more interesting story to tell between a revengeful Ricochet against Braun, because Braun took him out, and just come back and like have a really good story, but you can now see that Ricochet still has promo problems. And on Twitter, you know, people like to be like, oh, where are all the idiots that said that Ricochet can't cut a promo? Well, hi, I'm Marie Shadows. Welcome to the Square Circle Podcast. Even though you have not yet seen my face back up again, welcome to the Square Circle Podcast. I'm Marie Shadows, and I will say that he has yet to learn how to do a promo. That promo that he had against Ospreay when he revealed that he, here's my face, I'm Marie Shadows. Welcome to the Square Circle Podcast. When he revealed that he, is gonna challenge him for the championship title. Yo, Pro Wrestle Clips! Thank you for stopping by, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. We gotta catch up soon, dude. I'm just saying. But I will say this though, that what do you call it? Yeah, so that promo, I was just like, bro, you still can't like cut a promo on the fly. You still have to think about what you have to say to Will Ospreay. And the biggest thing is that because this is AEW's overall problem, and it's kind of sad that I realized it 5 years after the fact. That's because like years 1, 2, and 3, or even like half of 3, I had those rose-colored glasses on. And, you know, I was in love with the product. I understood the message of change the world. But now AEW, like, you guys don't have an identity. You guys don't have, you know, a nice slogan that still says change the world. Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, they forgot what change the world is, right? They forgot what it was. Cody Rhodes saw the writing on the wall and Cody Rhodes left. And when you knew that he left, it was all downhill from there. But to go back to the original point, what I'm trying to make is that AEW no longer knows what their vision is. So they like to take stories from the past and try to pass it off as like it's a brand new thing. We have to somehow fill in the fans, but don't really fill in the fans on the story, because you have to really go and search for stuff. And you have to do the work, because we're not going to tell you, but we're going to tell you that we have history and that's it. Like, you don't do that with a friend circle. By the way, I want to shout out chat. Yaya says, why is Ricochet and Ospreay being booked so soon? We're gonna explore that, and the main one is that it's because of ratings. I'm gonna say ratings right now. Tony is an impatient child. Yes, he is. Like, the intrigue is the build-up. He's pretty much just burning through storyline like they're going out of style. And Lombardi Lee, what's up? Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to chat as well. The same thing with Yaya. Welcome to chat. Anyway, I totally agree with you, because it's the same thing. Like, Ospreay has so many matches under his belt starting AEW, and it's like, dude, you're gonna run out of people to wrestle, and then you're gonna be back in the same fucking boat and wrestle people again and again and again, and there is no story. There's nothing that connects anything. Okay, you have a match. That's awesome. You know who else has matches? Independent wrestling promotions. AEW fans will say that they love all wrestling. AEW fans will tell you that enjoy all wrestling and that you should support all wrestling. You should support the wrestlers. And for some reason, they are against having stories. And I get it. Not every match should have like a really deep build up storyline, because most of the time you really don't need it. You don't. But when you sign a television deal on cable network, you need to have some type of story to keep people coming back. There's a reason why your favorite TV show is considered an all-time classic. It's considered one of the best TV shows in the world, and we can all agree with that. And that is because of storytelling. You fall in love with the characters. You fall in love with the situation. You fall in love with the motivation. You yell at the TV screen because you're like, this character is doing something wrong, and you in your heart is like, yo, there is something more morally wrong with this. So I am going to yell at the TV and be like, character A, don't do it, don't do that. And then when character A finally does it and the consequences are handed out, you're like, see, this is what character A gets because of X, Y, and Z. And then character B comes in, which is most likely the antagonist, can come in and like do whatever is needed for the scene. And, you know, you build tension, you build a love and a trust with the characters of your favorite TV show, and you love it. And then you talk about it in the fandom. But for some reason, AEW fans just want matches. And this tells me, and I've said this so many years before, this tells me that the AEW fans don't care about the indies like they pretend that they do, because if they did, they'll understand that they go to the indies, all they're going to get is matches. And like, I work on the indies and I do media press and I visit independent promotions when I can. And it's all about matches. I barely see like stories go from one month to another month and it's just matches. And if you're just interested in matches, go support the indies and tell AEW to start doing stories to get their ratings up, to get their money up for getting a better deal. Tony Khan had like mentioned on Busted Open Radio that like there's a deal on the table, but I don't think it's signed just yet, but there's a deal there. And I'm not listening to anybody else that's not like Tony Khan. If like other people put it out there that like it's 170 million, I saw that number floating around and it's like, all right, they got 170 million over what, 5 years? That's what people have been saying. Like it's over 5 years. It's one of those things of like, is that going to be enough? Especially when the news is about that the wrestlers are like overpaid and highest paid. Like, is that going to be enough to satisfy everybody? Like, you got to think about the cost and the back end, but wrestling fans just don't want that. So I know I'm jumping around for like all the stuff I really want to talk about, but this is where you get like the very unhinged, unscripted Marie Shadows talking about this, when all I want to do is just talk about like the pacing problem. And I can say it over and over again, but for some reason, it seems like when you go to AEW, there's no structure, obviously, and there's no leadership. So everybody does whatever they want to do. And it's hurting the company. It's hurting the wrestlers, and the wrestlers hurt themselves by going on social media and arguing back and forth with either bots, users that have anime profile pictures, users that have no profile pictures, users that have name and a bunch of numbers. Like, how long have you been on Twitter? Like, you should you should already know the game on Twitter already. You should already know. Yo, Big Man Dogs, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. You can have some heatless bangers, but they need to be short. Yeah, like you can have like, you know, a heatless one. just make it good. WCW will regularly have 5 minute long cruiserweight matches. It doesn't work when you do that for like 15 minutes. Yeah, right. It doesn't. Sometimes short and sweet is very good when it comes to like matches and feuds. But you can't say that a feud that's like 2 weeks long is like the greatest story ever. That's like one of my like pet peeves with the AEW fan base, is that, oh my God, this story is so good. This story is so good. It's like 2 weeks old and it's so good. Like, what? I could understand if it was like a story told over the 7 days of a week, right? But if it's like every Wednesday, like, you know, this past Wednesday, they did something. Next week, Wednesday, they did something. When the third week of Wednesday comes around, they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest story. We've only been here for 2 weeks, dude. Like, how is it the greatest story? How is that so great? And then when you ask them, how is it great? They don't know what to tell you. Man, like, I don't know what it is. It's just that there seems to be like a lack of understanding while still trying to be a rebel in AEW, and, you know, them wanting to do it their way. And I get it. You should. And this is a wisdom nugget for, like, everybody out there. You should do things your way. You should. You should break all the rules. Rules are imaginary. And now, as I say this, I'm going to say something else that you might call me a hypocrite for. Even though the rules are imaginary, even though you can go out there and do what you want and believe in yourself and believe in your dream, there are still some fundamental layers that should be followed, because if something is not broken, don't fix it to the point where it looks unrecognizable, because then you're not really going to get ahead. You're not really going to get what you want to get. It's going to look like a giant mess, and no one is going to take it serious. No one is going to believe in it. Even though you believe in whatever you want to do, sometimes you don't break something that doesn't need to be fixed. And I know that's backwards, but you get the idea. If something is not broken, don't fix it. Just use the fundamental of what you have, build upon it. And if you notice that your competition, your rival, whatever you want to call it, if you know that they did something that you similarly want to do, but your competition and or rival failed at what you wanted to do, all you have to do is just look at it and go in a different direction, and it may work for you and you may end up viral. Who knows? Big Man Dog says, it is crazy how quickly the AEW, IWC collectively jump on a bandwagon around a wrestler or storyline. That is because most of the AEW, IWC fans grew up on the internet, and they grew up on the phone, and they grew up behind the screen. So they don't know how to interact or build relationships or build friendships or even think for themselves and become a free thinker. So they latch on to, hey, if everybody is talking about this one thing, I'm going to go over here because I'm going to feel accepted and I'm going to feel seen, rather than trying to be like, excuse me, that doesn't make sense because of X, Y, and Z. That is the only reason why the AEW, IWC fans collectively jump on something, and they want to do it because they want that high five. They want that acceptance, rather than being like the odd one out, because they think that they're going to lose out on something. You're not going to lose out on anything. If you want to walk the walk and talk the talk, you go do that kind of stuff. If you're going to be a sheep, and when people point out that you're going to be a sheep, you really can't get mad, because that's exactly what you're doing. That's just an observation that people who are able to tell the truth and think about the truth and give a different perspective and stuff, and not be part of a sheep-like mind and a hive, is just calling out observations. But people take it personal when it's like, it's not really that personal, because it shouldn't be your personality. But sometimes people end up making it a personality. Like for AEW, if you're an AEW fan, apparently that's your personality. So yeah. Sorry, I had just had a message from Twitch. Okay. We're all good. We're all good. Hey, Dubba, what's up? Thank you for joining the chat. Listen, if WWE marks do exactly the same thing, it is not so far pushed. That's the thing. It's so far, it's not so pushed. And most of the time they stay in their bubbles, and that's about it. We're talking about the AEW, IWC stuff. That's what we're talking about. All right, everything seems good on the Twitch side of things. Before we get into watching stuff, but yeah, that's mainly like the stuff that I wanna try and talk about is like the pacing problem. There was on Twitter when AEW puts out the clips of AEW Dynamite, which like I don't know who runs the social media account, but like you guys gotta pick better clips. That John Moxley confrontation with Darby Allin, listen, if you're gonna start semi beating somebody up in wrestling and then all of a sudden throw them into the ring and have this middle school stare down where nothing really happens. I can't take you seriously. And then the answers to the guy that put up the video and, you know, was like, what the hell is this? You know, those answers make no sense. Can anybody in chat tell me if they think that Darby Allin is going to join Jon Moxley's group? Is there a reason why Darby should join Jon Moxley's group? Like, I'm asking to know, because it doesn't make any sense for Darby to join a group. I mean, do we consider... Nah, I don't think so. I was going to say, do we consider Sting and Darby as a group, even though that was a tag team? But yeah, you know... Brand, I'm gonna agree with you. Like, I have no idea, but I saw that floating around in the thread I was in. You know, that apparently the thing is that Darby is gonna join Jon Moxley's group, but it's like Darby doesn't join a group. Darby is for himself. Why would he join a group? What would compel him to join a group? And this whole thing about Jon Moxley respecting the hell out of Darby, that's why he didn't want to beat him up. Like, what? If you respected somebody, you would not even like want to slightly beat them up. You would be like, yo, I respect you so much. I want you at 110%. I'll see you at Grand Slam. That's it. They don't touch. But for some reason, AEW fans have convinced themselves that basically they know the story before AEW gives it to us, but AEW does things on the fly. So, you know, this is the bad thing about AEW not establishing that there are baby faces, there are heels, there is story, there's like all this stuff. But no, it's AEW fans can make up whatever the story is in their mind, and it's like, that's not how that works. Big Man Dog says, no, he's not joining. He's just going to stand up to them as an AEW original. See, I see that. Like, I don't know where AEW fans get this idea that Darby is joining. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all. I was just curious about that because, like, for whatever reason, Jon Moxley is doing everything he can to try to get this character and story over. And I will say this, though. I did see the promo where, like, all of them are in the parking lot, right? And, like, in the loading dock. And they're talking to, like, they're talking to Wheeler Yuta because Yuta is, like, the third member for the trio's tag team titles, right? And the only good line there was Pac. Claudio didn't need to say anything, and Moxley sure as hell did not need to say anything. But when Moxley spoke, man, did that remind me of like him trying to assemble a cult. And AEW is a cult, and I'm like, oh my god, this is writing itself. AEW has become so meta, and I blame the Young Bucks for bringing meta into wrestling. I blame them, but for bringing meta into wrestling. And here comes Jon Moxley, like, speaking like a cult leader, trying to get Yuta to remember, like, who trained him to be a man, and, you know, want him to come back into the group, and that he has duties and obligations to do because he's a champion. And it's like, yo, are you really trying to start a cult here? Like, you know, I don't know why they haven't done like a sit down interview with Jon Moxley and asked the really hard questions about like, yo, are you really getting inspiration from the movie Romper Stomper? As Brian Alvarez said, like that's a thing that I want to know if that's really happening. But I'm surprised they haven't done a sit down interview. They do sit down interviews with everybody, but Jon Moxley don't get a sit down interview when he's the one that needs to have a sit down interview to make sure that people understand what is happening with this story, with this character, rather than like throwing whatever at the wall and sticking and see what happens, you know, like it's annoying. It really is, because it's like you want AEW to do very, very well, but then like you're pointing out like all the obvious stuff, and it's like none of this stuff is getting fixed. Why is it not getting fixed at all? Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely let JR do the interview with Moxie and let JR, you know, ask him like the really hard questions. Because Tony Schiavone can do it. Excalibur can do it. Taz can do it. So you got JR. I just feel like it needs to be like a man to ask Jon Moxley. Just because. Um, okay, let me do this quickly. Where is okay? Uh, okay. So if you guys don't know, this is my fourth wall website, right? Um, so fourth wall is basically Patreon, except that, like I said, you can have everything on here. So like when people go here, they can see what I'm all about. You can definitely see my professional background here, where it says that I'm a former WWE employee and stuff like that, and I do vlogging and media press and everything that I've done. There goes my legit picture of me at the WWE like network, and posing in front of it. This is everything that I've done. Actual train tickets, the vlog in Nutley, New Jersey, me going on the train Monday through Friday from New York City to Connecticut to go work, hanging out with the boys, vlogging. These are the shows that I worked on for the WWE Network. And then these are the wonderful group of ladies at Goddesses of War Wrestling that I worked with also. Interview, hanging out with the buddies of Jacob and Lance and Juicy, me doing commentary, hanging out, vlogging, media press for MOW, and down here are the 2023 wrestling planners. If you guys don't know, I create wrestling planners. This is the 2024 wrestling planner. It is still available on Barnes and Nobles. I'm going to be making 2025 soon, so it's up to you whether you want to get the 2024 one or wait till 2025. It is up to you, but I make wrestling planners for the wrestling community because I want to give back to you guys, even though we argue, but wrestling planner for you guys. Basically, you could take notes, you could write down your favorite matches, you could color in the stars. It goes up to 7-star ratings. You could definitely have a calendar. You could definitely plan stuff out. If you go to wrestling events, you can remind yourself like when the wrestling event is. It's a wrestling planner similar to like the 2025 planners that everyone is going to buy in January. So basically that's what that is. Meeting Sean Maluda, MOW Media Press, show notes, and day 2 of going to ring training. If you see me flexing there are like bruises on my bicep at that time because when you run the ropes, you end up getting bruises, and I was proud of them. So I took a picture, and basically that's my badge of honor. So I did go to wrestling school. That was pretty fun. I got to get back into it, even though my bumps suck. But I do love running the ropes. I do recommend that if you're not comfortable bumping, because your body will stop you, you could just run the ropes, and that's good cardio. Over here, I have a signed Okada towel that New Japan Pro Wrestling gave me through a giveaway that I won, which was surprising. So I have my signed Okada towel. Me going to a bunch of wrestling seminars because I love wrestling and I go to a bunch of wrestling seminars. And then my notes for like Wrestle Kingdom 14 for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then it's discover your next obsession, whether that is listening to my podcast episodes, buying the merchandise and stuff like that. I currently have 2 memberships available on the fourth wall, which is $4.99. But again, if you're over on Twitch, you could get that discounted price for subs that are sub to the channel at $4.79, and then also $12.82, $13.50 per month. The only perk I have right now is just Discord members, but I'm gonna add some more stuff. So you can gift it through like the Twitch chat, and if you want to save 15%, you can do that too for like annual stuff. It's starting to get cold, so here's some merchandise that I made. Basically star rated. You want to be 7 stars all day, every day, because you're worth it. So the star rated shirts, basically, it's gonna get colder later. So if you want to, stay warm and stay star rated, because you're worth it. I added some mugs, some stickers, some buttons. I guess people like buttons. You got the NJPW Queen. If people want like an NJPW King, let me know. I could just change it to King and let that go. Are you gonna follow my Instagram page? Oh, cool. Yeah, so the Instagram page is just marieshadows.scp if you want to just follow it. Or if you see my stuff pop up, it'll be there. What up, Robert Jr.? What's up? You met most of the MLW and basically all the TNA and also NWA. Met some AEW and WWE talent. That's awesome, man. Super, super awesome. But yeah, if anybody wants like an NJPW King, just let me know. I'll make one. You get the stickers. You get the Shadow Den, which is basically the Discord that is up. Wrestling All Day, and then the logo of my podcast. I made a notebook one, so you could get like a journal. These are sold out. I'm waiting for them to return because I like this color. And if you guys want to go to training, you could get the Bump Flex Train Repeat shirt, and then all the rest of the other merchandise. I created 7-star rated shirts. So if you want to buy a 7 one, because you feel like you're a 7, you could buy a 7. But I did 1 through 7 on t-shirts. And then, now streaming. Now streaming all the videos that I do. And then thank you for your support. You can donate at whatever you want if you don't want to get a membership at all. And yeah, that is fourth wall. Any questions? Yo, LC Killer, what's up? Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Let me quickly show you the Discord and what is new. If you guys want to join the Discord, you guys can. I gotta remember that I have to do it in the other one. Okay. So, when it comes to Discord, obviously we have our announcements. You go into the welcomes, you pick, well, it gives you the role of rookie. I think I call it rookie. Socials, rules, merch, wrestling planner, memberships. We chat in the general chat of the bodega, which, that's what it is. We have all-topic memes, indie, WWE, MLW, TNA, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Noah, Joshi. And then if you're into books, writing, pictures, even food pictures, because I show off my cooking, you could all, do that, right? The main thing about the Discord that I want to do is that I want to bring people together to talk about the fandom and also talk about like gaming, books, writing, because I also want to include you guys on my journey of me writing a cyberpunk sci-fi novel, well, a novella really, and then also a wrestling fiction novel as well. So I want you guys along for the ride and like look at my process and everything like that. For the podcast stuff, right? So I created forums, which are match reactions and match recommendations and podcast recommendations and clips and stuff like that. So if you do join and you want me to react to something on the next live stream or as a standalone video, you guys can make just one thread and post whatever you want in there for the match reactions, podcast stuff, clip stuff, and tag me. Just know that I cannot get to everything, but I will try to get to everything. But at least it gives me sort of a catalog to go through and react to it with each and every one of you guys. So that's what you could do there. The same thing with the wrestling hot takes. I already did one as like, for what you can expect and then all the rules and the guidelines and stuff like that when it comes to the wrestling hot takes. Do the same thing for the match reactions, where you just make one thread and you keep it that way. One thread, you put everything in there. Just remember that other people are here. Other people have opinions. Other people have different perspectives. So keep everything sort of at least, level-headed, and everything should be fine. The hot takes are going to be for when I go live, when I do a podcast segment episode that's not live, like a standalone podcast episode. And that's about it. And we share it and we keep it in there. I'm not gonna put it anywhere else. And or the sound stage, because we do have a sound stage which I want to utilize. If you guys don't know anything about the sound stage, it is basically like Twitter Spaces, but I would definitely love to do that. So that is the Discord. I just want to bring together a community to talk about wrestling, talk about stuff. So that's there. Again, the link will be going around in chat. And then now the fun part is that after I tell you all about this, we're going to start listening to some stuff. And by the way, guys, if you're just joining me or like you're lurking, I love you guys. Make sure to hit that like button right here on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. The more likes that we have, the more it pushes it out into the YouTube atmosphere. And then more people could come in and we could talk about wrestling a lot more. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Sorry about that. We don't need the image at the moment. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do first. Oh, did I really just exit out the second window? Of course I did. Of course. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna listen to some Jim Cornette stuff. And again, if you don't like Jim Cornette because of personal reasons or whatever the case may be, then that's totally okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna be upset or anything. That's what you don't like. That's what you don't like. And at any point in time, if you guys think that I am just picking on AEW just to pick on AEW, because if you think that, it's a fun thing to do, no, I just want AEW to improve. That's all. Why is that such a big deal? Why is that so controversial to say that, you want something to improve. Why is that so bad? Um, you know, I'm not doing it to gain clout or try to be like everybody else or try to be a grifter, which by the way, I've been called grifter like 3 times and I think I made it. I think I made it now that I've been called that, even though that's not like you guys on the internet no longer know what definitions are and you don't know the meaning to words. If I was a gifter, I would be trying to swindle everybody out of their money when I'm trying to be like, hey, I'm doing this for free. However, there are memberships and you can also tip me or you could buy me food because I'm I'm breaking down something for free. But if you want like a deeper experience into like the tape study series where I break down professional wrestling matches and talk about it and be like, hey, how can we help somebody improve? Knowing that if I put it up on YouTube, it's going to get flagged. And so if I put it behind a paywall, I'm giving you guys like an actual high quality service. I'm not like the other guys on Twitter that would be like, hey, such and such bad thing happened to me. So can you donate money to me? And therefore you see them at a wrestling show with that money being used or whatever the case may be, where like they don't give you guys deliverables for the money that like you give them. So I don't know. I think I made it by people calling me a grifter on Twitter, which is kind of funny. Okay.
Here we go. Come to mama.
This is, man, I can't skip these. Okay. So this one is Jim Cornette reviews John Moxley and crew attacking Private Party and Commando, which by the way, it's really weird and uncomfortable that Moxley and crew will go after certain people, and the way that they make it look is like as if they do have a problem with like the people that they go after, right? And I really don't want to make anything like super political, but you could just fill in the blanks. Like it just looks wrong. It really does. It looks wrong. All right, guys, let's end up listening to this.
And Commander with Alex, did you watch the breakdancing entrance by the babyfaces?
Yeah, I guess they needed to have something new for Alex to do since the Lucha Brothers are going to WWE and they didn't take him. And now he's with these guys, and you say their breakdancing was his that really stood out.
Well, he made old Ray Gun look good. But here's Private Party again. It's just silliness.
LC Killer, bless your heart, man. I had been debating if I wanted to watch Romper Stomper, but I'm just like I can't bring myself to do it. And if it's like very uncomfortable, just like how John Moxley is being very uncomfortable, then that's a cause for being sus. But it's just a cause for like to just be cautioned for like whatever he does.
And Commander there for whatever that's worth, and Alex is dancing like a fucking fool. And they're in an empty building, and the people are in and there's 3 opponents in the ring, and suddenly the plumber and Marina Schaefer and Pac and Claudio come in and beat up all 6 of them.
Yeah, just like nothing.
The job guys in the ring and the fucking 3 baby faces, and I guess the manager, and and then they just were gone. They just left. They took their ass whipping and departed. And then they start doing I can't even call it a promo because it's just nonsensical. Pac is saying, this company is broken. No response from the people. We are inevitable.
Oh, damn, I didn't know we went back that far. Wow.
Silence. Diplomacy has failed. This company is ours. And people are, what the fuck?
What diplomacy? What the fuck are you talking about? Kissinger?
It's goddamn Brzezinski. He took over for him.
Or Neville Chamberlain. I'm not sure who he is.
And then Pac left, and the plumber wandered around, kind of, and then he left, and there was the sign, Jim's not going to like this, and the people are like, anyway, should we move along?
Well, what do you think? Again, this has been playing out now. John Moxley and
Okay, are you guys hearing the video clearly? It might just be my headset. I don't know what it is. I hate that my mic is picking up the fan, first of all, but for some reason in my headset,
invading the show, even
it's
though
just
he's
messing
one
up.
of their wrestlers, and beating everyone up and saying that it's not their company anymore, and he wants to speak to Darby Allin. And
okay, so hold on. I don't know. You can hear it fine. So nobody hears like any weird stuff, right? Like it breaks up. Like nobody hears the video breaking up, because I might have to just restart my headset. I have the volume like all the way up, especially on my headset. And even on the OBS, just so you know. You guys are gonna have me like wear hearing aids. I say that with love. But like the volume is fine. Doesn't break up for you. Okay. All right. It might just be my headset.
again, Pac now gets on the mic, and there will be no diplomacy, be no embassy, there will be no ambassador. I don't know what's happening here. Whatever direction they're going to go, and we don't know yet. There's still people that think Shane McMahon will be tied to this.
Yeah, well, and there's still more shit going on with Moxley and Darby on this program, but go ahead.
But just what do you think of this tone? Because like you said, and it's not just this, so this isn't really singled out, the crowd's dead. The crowd's not reacting, and it seems like these guys, specifically Moxley.
My wired headset sucks. So I'm using Bluetooth ones because these have like stood the test of time. But eventually I will need to get wired headsets. But again, my wired headset it's messed up. all my equipment is messed up.
Moxley is performing for himself.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
They're auditioning.
Hold on. I got to go back to that. Let's go back this far.
The crowd's not reacting, and it seems like these guys, specifically Moxley, is performing for himself.
Yeah.
That is 100% right. 100% right, and I have not picked up on that. That is why I do not like this new character of Moxley. Exactly why. And exactly why it is failing, because he is performing for himself rather than for the fans. I understand that, wrestling can be an art. The same way that you'll go to like Broadway theater and, watch the performance and they're playing a character and they're doing what it says on the script. But Moxley is performing for himself. I don't know why I didn't think about that. That is why I don't like Moxley. Because Moxley performs for himself. He doesn't understand how to perform for the crowd. He thinks that whatever he likes to do, the crowd is going to follow. And sometimes that happens. But you have to have, you have to be charismatic. You have to be good on the mic. You just have to connect with the people. And I said this before, that AEW wrestlers don't know how to connect with the fans, don't know how to connect with the people, don't know how to tell a story. And then you get this. Thank you, Brian Last, for like bringing that up. And I could be like, oh shit, I didn't really make the connection, but like he helped me make the connection about like why I don't like Moxley. And it's exactly that. He performs for himself. And then like all of Moxley's fans, which are like female, wanna basically defend this guy, as if like they're gonna be seen, and I'm like, yo, he doesn't notice you. I should have picked up on that. He doesn't notice it, even though he'd probably be like, oh, he cares in the end. But like, man, that says a lot. Thanks to Brian Last for bringing that point up, because man, now I know why I don't like Moxley, because he performs for himself. That's selfish, by the way. That really is.
They're auditioning
While
for
reading
things,
poetry, whatever he's saying in these.
yeah, they're auditioning for things they'd like to do in the future whenever the billionaire finally gets tired of paying them.
Oh wow.
You know, we've seen the WWE create intrigue. Who's going to turn in the bloodline? Which way is that going to go? Whatever. But this is speaking in riddles when people don't even understand the particular riddle game they're playing or where any of this is coming from, so that you can explain it to them afterwards, maybe, whenever whatever needs to be revealed is revealed. And then there's an aha moment. Oh, now we understand all of this. Except, are we even going to ever get that moment?
No, we're not.
Or is this just they're being overly dramatic because they think it's cool? They're all getting a chance to be creative. But no. The people were sitting there going, what the fuck is going on?
I totally think so too, LC Killer, that Jon Moxley doesn't care anymore. He just cares about himself and like, how much money he's making, even if like money may not be like an option, but like things happen. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think he started to tune out when he realized, I don't even know. I don't even want to make speculations, but yeah, I get it.
Here, we don't understand this. We can't even hear Wild Thing anymore.
Yeah, we
By
can't.
the way, it seems like security would have a pretty good idea of where he is. He just walks through the crowd from the same place. If you had to stop him from attacking people, it wouldn't be that hard.
But then we wouldn't be able to figure out what is going on here and whose company it is.
That's true.
And they better hope they got Shane McMahon
Nah.
to make them forget how this whole thing started whenever I don't know whether they'll ever tell us.
Nope.
Or whether he'll just keep going on acting like this and they'll never make it clear.
Nope. Because they don't know how to make things clear.
More importantly,
oh, hold on. I guess we could go right into this.
Arena and
We'll go right into this. I mean, I didn't. This is about talking about the empty space that AEW has. So this is Jim Cornette on AEW Dynamite in an empty rump arena. So I guess we'll talk about it. I guess we'll listen to it because it does need to be talked about that. Like, if you can't fill up, stadiums and arenas, then you got to go back to square one. You got to go back to the foundation. And, if you have to downgrade until you could get back up on climbing the mountain, so to speak, then, you go do it. It doesn't make any sense to book these big places and not get a return investment and wasting a lot of money. And that's what Tony Khan doesn't understand. Like, listen, I don't want to make it like a class system kind of thing, but like, if you ever been poor, you know what it is, and like basically you understand the struggle. Tony Khan doesn't understand the struggle, so he could waste all his money on booking arenas that are way out of his means, and especially if like people are not buying the tickets, that causes a red flag, and he should understand that he should probably book smaller venues and start from the bottom again and work his way up and climb up. But no one is really going to challenge him on that because he doesn't want to be challenged. He doesn't know what it's like to be challenged, and everybody wants their paycheck and go home. And then if you bring it up and make that observation, people are going to say that you're wrong about it. And it's like, it's not. It's right there in front of our faces. You could put two and two together, even if like it may be like semi-true about it, but like you can see it. Especially if you looked at the business long enough and you kind of have to question, well, why is WWE, right? And again, I don't like doing the whole AEW versus WWE thing, but why is WWE able to sell out the tickets in the same states that AEW goes to? Like, you got to ask that question, because now it's becoming more concerning that AEW is not filling up the stadiums that they book, the arenas that they book, and they're only getting like 2,000, 3,000 people in there, you know, just to give them the benefit of the doubt. And even fillers and free tickets as well to try to fill up seats. But you do have to question that, like, when WWE makes the same loops as AEW makes the same loops in the United States, why is WWE able to sell out more? Is it because the product is better? People are invested in the storylines. People want to see characters like Liv and Dom go after the Terror Twins. People want to see the story unfold between Judgment Day and the Terror Twins, and like Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline, and like tune in live so that way they could be like, I was there live when Roman Reigns was there, or I was there live when Jacob was there, I was there live when Solo got his ass kicked, right? Like, you have to question these things if you want AEW to succeed. You have to question these things because it is now concerning. We're coming up on year 5 of AEW. AEW did great 2019, even in 2020 and 2021, even though we don't want to remember those years, but like, they were doing really well because at that time they were able to take advantage of a somewhat very hyperbole dying WWE in 2019. And now that the old guard had left WWE, AEW doesn't know what to do anymore. Tony Khan doesn't know what to do anymore. And as they rode the ride of success for a little bit, there was no backup plan. There was no plan in that room to be like, oh, what happens if like they all like fire everybody because new management took over from for WWE, which is TKO. So it's like, why was there no backup plan? That's because Tony Khan doesn't understand what a backup plan is and doesn't have a backup plan and just goes wherever he goes and does whatever he does. And it's like one of those things of, do you not think about the future of your company? Like, this is something that Tony Khan has wanted as a fan, right? And he has the money to do it. This is why money buys everything, unfortunately, because we're all fans, right? How come we all don't have wrestling promotions? We don't have the money for it. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that if you truly want AEW to succeed, you have to be asking these questions because it is concerning. It is year 5. Surprisingly, they made it this far, and that's just because of the money that they have. And I will say it again, and I will say it 1,000 times over, that money runs out. I don't care if they're a billionaire, a gajillionaire, a trillionaire, money runs out. There comes a time in life where like you hit a bumpy patch and shit happens because it's life, you know, but money runs out. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind. Again, the question is, why is WWE selling out in the same towns that AEW makes their loop on, but AEW cannot sell out in the same loop that they go to? We don't even know if AEW Grand Slam is sold out. Spoiler alert, it's not. I'll tell you why, because New York City is hurting right now. And I think that for this year, we know for next year, AEW Grand Slam is going to be over in Australia. And congratulations to Australia for bringing AEW over there. I'm happy for that because New York is exhausted. We have no money. We are irritated. We're dealing with our own problems here, and nobody has money to spend to go to AEW Grand Slam. So I think for this year, they should have booked it in a different freaking place. Book it in a state where they're not having problems. And then maybe they would have had a sellout. Like, don't book in New York City. We are like fed up over here. We're frustrated. Nobody wants to buy anything. And, like, we're fucking hurting. So I don't know why AEW thought it was a good idea to have like AEW Grand Slam here. Like, no. Anyway, let's get back to the video because I think I ranted long enough for that. But again, ask those questions.
The crowd or lack thereof in that giant building. And we talked about, I mean, they 3,000, said a little less than 4,000 last time, but this is now less than 3,000. And that's tickets distributed. Who knows how many were paid for and who radio giveaways. Please announce us. Get somebody to come down, whatever. I mean, 23,000 for basketball in Rupp Arena, and they've got a national television set up with 2,700 people in the building. Don't run Lexington if there's no other building. And it's not like that Lexington is a bad town. The WWE in the day, when they would do pay-per-views or big events there, have sold out Rupp Arena. And they have been there in more modern times where they do very respectably.
I have some recent numbers if you want them real quick for this.
Go ahead.
So we can go back to 2021, October 2021 WWE Super Show. That's a house show in Lexington. 3,470 people. Or tickets distributed, I assume.
And that's horrible, too.
Then we go to January 25th, 2023, AEW Dynamite. So same event. And these are from WrestleTix, by the way. 5,494 tickets distributed. We now go to June 16th, 2023, SmackDown. 9,841.
That sounds better.
We now go to August 19th, 2023, as you mentioned before. Collision, 3,228. And finally, February of this year, WWE Raw, 10,108. That shows you how they got hot.
Well, and as a matter of fact, when they were hot in the early 2000s, they were still hot at the house shows, even when the wrestling war had run its course, and they did the all-time record gate in the state of Kentucky in Rupp Arena in Lexington. It did 20,000 people or whatever it was. And Lexington has always been a great market, and I've talked about when Jarrett opened it up. And the thing is, there was some element of, even though Lexington became a great market for the Memphis territory, as I'll tell you in a second, there was still some element of, boy, this is a big building, that kind of held the atmosphere down when there were 7,000 or 8,000 people in the place because it's so big. But we've told the story before. Lance Russell knew the guy who had become the program director at WLEX 18 in Lexington, the NBC affiliate, because the guy had come from Memphis. And Lance sold him on the idea, well, at Channel 5 in Memphis, WMC, we're doing these gigantic ratings Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Over in Louisville, WAVE, Channel 3, the NBC affiliate, Saturday at noon. It's the most watched program in the time slot, Memphis Wrestling. Put it on here, and they did. And the thing at Rupp Arena was motivated to find events to put in there because it had just opened. I think, what was it, 75, 76, maybe, whatever. And the reason why 50 years ago there was a 23,000 seat arena in the state of Kentucky in a town of 160 or 70,000 people was because the University of Kentucky. The basketball team would fill it. People would fight over tickets still with that big of a building. But they couldn't get anything else, And UK still had the old Memorial Coliseum seated 10 or 12,000 or whatever, but wrestling had always traditionally been to one of the high school gyms in Lexington when they could get a spot. So Jarrett went to Rupp Arena, and they cut him a deal for Thursday nights once a month. They would put this giant, heavy, black stage curtain down the middle of the building, and they'd rent him half of it. And the ringside and lower bowl, just on half the building, would seat 6,000 people. And if you had to open up the upper deck, then you knew you had a really strong house, right? And then they could put however many more thousands in the upper deck. It was ridiculous. So Rupp Arena prospered because they had people paying for parking, and they had thousands of people buying hot dogs and drinks and beer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And their usher services and their building people and their concessions, they all had an extra night's work a month. So they didn't expect to rent the whole goddamn building every night of the week. And it still takes a pretty big event to fucking justify Rupp Arena, right? But anyway, when they got the TV and then they went to Rupp Arena and said, we're on WLEX. There were 3 TV stations in Lexington at the time. And we'll come there once a month. They started building and they always went up. The first show was 1,500 people. A second was like 1,350. And then it went to 2,600 people, and then 4,000 people, and then 5,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And they started in spring of 78. By the early 80s, 81, 82, 83, the gates were bigger than they were in the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Of course, they ran Memphis every week. They ran Lexington once a month, but Lexington, an average card would do 30 grand, and the big ones would do 40.
Okay.
And that's when the tickets were $5 and $6 a piece. Because in Memphis, they still had the $3 general admission. So if you had an 11,000 person sellout in the Mid-South Coliseum, the gate was 46 grand. You could do 40 grand in Lexington with 8,000 people. Having said that, from 1982 until today, $1 then is worth $3 now. So you're talking about once a month, they would do an arena show where their gate was between 90 grand and 120 grand. So you do that 12 times a year.
Okay.
And that's why that Lexington was such an important town in the Memphis territory, and they didn't stop running it until they lost the TV in the late 80s.
Okay.
But you can't go in there. And that's another thing. Think about this, Brian. What was Jerry Jarrett's talent payroll on a show that would do the equivalent of a $120,000 house? Here, Tony has these multi-million-dollar talents and these national television stars and these widely known names, and didn't sell 3,000 tickets. And Jarrett would draw crowds of up to 8,000 people. I guarantee you he didn't spend more than 12 grand on the entire talent roster, including the referee and the goddamn guy hauling the ring. What?
Okay.
Help me try to understand the economics of all of this.
Well, I can't help you explain the economics of Tony Khan running the Rupp Arena again. There isn't a market I could think of for Dynamite or, even Collision or Ram.
What up, Matthew Johnson? Thank you for joining the chat, and thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for that fire emoji as well. I was even trying to find like a really good place to stop and like talk about it and kind of like break it down a little bit more, but I just really can't. But learning about that is definitely a good thing. Let me 1 second here. Seriously, the bots over at Twitch, when they're like, hey, cheap viewers, click this link or whatnot, that gotta stop. But yeah, I was trying to find like a place to stop and talk about numbers and all that kind of stuff. TK is worried about Ricky Starks leaving the company to the company to WWE. I mean, look, man. Look, at this point, like, just be like, Ricky, I'm sorry, I can't pay the rest of your contract. Just go to WWE. Like, it's okay. Go do what you want to do. At this point, like, Tony Khan is just holding him hostage. The same way that, like, he might hold Miro hostage because Miro ended up asking for his release. Okay, so we're not gonna watch the whole thing of like Jim Cornette talking about the Rump Arena because that's not what I wanted to focus on. But I mean, the way that Jim Cornette explained that every time that back in the day the Rump Arena got a little bit more of a success and they climbed up this like ladder, they climbed up. That's when they like really made a name for themselves as like the Rump Arena and why people wanted to go there. And that's exactly similar to what I basically said, that, you know, if Tony Khan has to start from like the bottom and have to do smaller arenas and smaller venues, then it's okay. But the contracts to everyone that got paid super, super big have to be cut. So let's watch this one.
And then we were at 9. And then we were at 9 o'clock, and here came Darby Allin, wandering to the ring, just blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
And
what?
of course, Moxley has been referring to him and saying he needed to talk to him over the past week or two. So Darby says, somebody's been looking for me while I'm right here. That is the extent of everything he said when he came out. And he didn't even say that with as much enthusiasm as I just had. And then Moxley's new music plays, and here he comes with Marina Shafir wandering through the arena. And Shafir goes face to face with Darby. She's got bigger arms than he did, and he was wearing a big pink bushy hoodie. And then, Brian, is it so smart, so inside that I don't even understand it, much less the average wrestling fan, where they talk about how Moxley says nothing has changed between me and you. Any kind of half-ass has been putting him over, but whatever the fuck. But then Darby cut him off, and I used to be a homeless dishwasher.
Yep.
And AEW gave me everything, and you were my hero because you wouldn't change for anybody. You still do indies. Oh, joy. But then he bitches him out about what he did to Brian. But you used to be my hero. Don't we hear that all the time now?
We hear that all the time.
I used to be a homeless dishwasher.
We just heard the hero thing, or the I look up to you thing, from Britt Baker in the Mercedes Moné contract signing.
Yep.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah. But I mean, again, most people would go, what the fuck? You still do indies. You're on national television. You're supposed to be a big star. What are you, a fucking idiot? But it's a hero type of thing, a noble thing for them, because he used to be a homeless dishwasher. So what do you want, Moxley, is what he's saying. So Moxley then, and Brian, this is where you got to help me, and we got to help the viewers or the listeners or everybody. Everybody needs help. Moxley then says that Darby Allin was going to wrestle Bryan Danielson for the AEW title at Grand Slam, which is the Dynamite episode from the Arthur Ashe Stadium. But since Danielson is indisposed because of the plastic bag that was put over his head, apparently he's
tried to murder him.
Yeah, I tried to murder him.
They didn't try to injure him. They tried to murder him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and they don't want to talk about it.
And hey, Darby, you weren't ready to be the world champion anyway. So Moxley wants Darby to hand over his title shot that he earned with Bryan Danielson to him. But Darby says, well, I'm not just going to hand it to you. You got to do something about it. And Moxley says, okay, then in New York City on September the 25th, the title shot, they're going to fight for the title shot. The winner gets the title shot. And then Moxley talked in some more riddles and kept saying, I don't have time to explain to you now. I wish you had time to explain this to us. But I don't have time to explain, but this is the way it's going to be.
Why don't you have time? What else are you doing?
What
Yeah,
else are you
right?
doing? Wandering around. Come out the entranceway instead of through the crowd and save you 5 minutes a night.
Yep.
But anyway, so now we've established that Bryan Danielson, the world champion, can't wrestle Darby Allin at Grand Slam because he's been bagged. So Darby is going to wrestle Moxley with the title shot against Danielson on the line. That's where we've got so far in this thing, right?
Well, technically, the title shot is on the line, but yes, against Danielson, it would appear.
Yes, they're going to wrestle for the title shot.
I can't explain anything else. I gotta go. I got a cab waiting for me.
Oh my God.
But just remember, that's where we've left it.
Yes, Bryan Danielson cannot wrestle on Grand Slam, so we're going to get Darby Allin versus Moxley. And you know what? For AEW, that's a pretty big match. That's the match at Grand Slam because there's no Bryan Danielson.
For the kind of people that like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing those people like.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much. Is that it? That's
Well,
it.
Jim, I know.
That's true, man. Like it's ridiculous. Hold on, I was just fixing something. Sorry, guys. By the way, everyone, thank you for all the likes. If you have not given this live stream a like yet, please do so. The more likes you give it, the better it goes into the algorithm, and then we can get more people that are, going around YouTube trying to find videos to watch, trying to find live streams to watch. And if they're wrestling fans, we can have more conversations about AEW, like actual conversations about AEW, and how they can improve and what they need to do and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, make sure to hit that like button. It definitely helps out.
No matter who you are, there are
Oh my God.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, it's not a joke because a joke has a punchline and you either get it or you don't, but this is still up in the air. Here's the second half of the conundrum we had earlier. Nigel McGuinness is in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he announces that since Darby Allin is now putting the shot he has at the world title on the line against Moxley, there's going to be no world title match. Well, there was supposed to be no world title match because Danielson just got a plastic bag put over his head, was the victim of attempted murder, which is why that Darby put the title shot on the line against Moxley loosely.
The only reason why I did the air quotes is because nothing makes sense in AEW. And this is what I'm pointing out. And this is what I will always point out, is that nothing makes sense in AEW until the AEW hardcore fan base, the sickos, start speaking up. AEW is not going to change. And then AEW is going to keep going downhill, downhill, downhill. And if the inevitable happens, then we know who to blame, which are the sickos. Yo, Gio, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream.
But now he's put the cart before the horse. So since Darby's wrestling Moxley, there's going to be no world title match. And then he said, and Danielson's probably in an iron lung anyway.
Oh, by the way, that line.
The
I am not sure if I don't think I covered it last stream, or maybe I did, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I have a little moth flying around me. If you see me swat to the side. But yeah, that iron lung comment should have never been said. Do people not know what the hell the iron lung is? That he should be strapped up to the iron lung? Oh wait, was it Jim that said it? Did Jim say it? Or I forgot. Oh my God. But yeah, like, do people not know what the iron lung was for? And like what part of history that was for? Like, do research. You don't have to bring up the iron lung just because like someone put a bag over Danielson's head and make that like huge ass like comparison. Like, shit, man, do some research about the iron lung. I don't know. Like, should we look it up? I really don't want to look it up, but like, man, school is failing us.
World champion should at least compete on the big Grand Slam. And then he keeps talking about Bryan Danielson's success should have been mine. And he's been making comments on the secondary television programs because Danielson and Nigel had a big rivalry in like 2009 and 10 in Ring of Honor. And they are playing off of that, and Nigel's the over-the-top heel now. And so they've been talking about that on the shows that Nigel is on. But does anybody, Brian, on Wednesday night know why that, or even if they've been watching these other shows, have they made it clear why Nigel McGuinness thinks that Bryan Danielson's success should have been his? But instead, Danielson went on to greatness, and Nigel had his career pulled out from under him because of a hepatitis diagnosis, with the WWE rescinding his contract.
I'll go a little further. Unless you were following Ring of Honor then, you may not even know he was a wrestler. Because other than his run as Desmond Wolfe in TNA, he has only been used as a commentator on NXT and now here. And he's not...
Okay, so I totally forgot about the Desmond Wolfe character on TNA, but yeah, I did. By the way, I have watched Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness the whole entire time. So I think McGuinness was like, yo, this is like 20 years in the making and stuff like that. Like, I have been present for like all their battles. I don't think, or maybe no, I've seen Nigel McGuinness live. I've seen Daniel Bryan live back in Ring of Honor, and I might be dating myself, but that's totally okay. I actually went to the shows. Now there's this, wrestling discussion on the IWC. If you've seen the pictures, if you've seen the screenshots, you know. But there's a certain someone out there that says that they have never watched Bret Hart versus HBK. Yeah, I said it right. That they do not know anything about that, but they know everything about Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. No. And that this person started watching wrestling in 2009. If you started watching, is it 2009 that they said? 09? Yeah, 09, 2009. If you started watching wrestling in 2009, then that's not enough. But to say that Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness over Bret versus HBK is kind of wrong. Both of these feuds are good in their own respect, but what came first to like really give us a bloodbath is Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. And Danielson versus McGuinness. Like I said, I was there for like the whole entire time. I grew up with Danielson versus McGuinness as like a feud. I grew up with that, so I know the history. I know the matches. I know how hardcore and dangerous they can get. Danielson has like no respect for his own life, so there's that. I even know that Danielson was heel in Ring of Honor, and when he was Ring of Honor champion, and this guy was fighting with that championship title with a separated shoulder. So I know all of that. I know all the history, but yet people will go to somebody that will say outright that Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart doesn't matter, but AEW agenda matters no matter what. And they watch wrestling since 2009. Like, they don't know. And they're not going to go and watch the history, and they're not going to understand the history, and they're not going to understand wrestling and why people like it and why people are highly invested. They're going to just talk out their ass. So, like, if you want to learn something, you come to the right place. You came to the Square Circle podcast hosted by yours truly, Marie Shadows. And if you want to learn something, hit that follow button, because like I've watched this. I've grown up with it. I could tell you guys what's probably going to be happening. Maybe, maybe not. But Danielson versus McGuinness, like, you would have to be a super fan to go all the way back to experience the feud and be like, okay, I know what's going on. Basically, like, if you're just watching it now and you're like, oh my God, this is a dream match, this is so cool. You're practically a new fan, and you just, didn't watch for that long and didn't really see Nigel McGuinness's career after like Ring of Honor. I don't even know if people remember Desmond Wolfe. Most people probably was not tuning in to TNA and then to automatically be on the bandwagon. Like we were talking earlier about bandwagons and how the AEW IWC don't know what it's like to be a free thinker and don't know what it's like to be in like their own circle and like by themselves, and they want to latch on to something that's trendy. So if someone says, oh my god, this is a dream match, that's because most likely they know about the history between Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. They had some really awesome fucking matches, respectfully, either not fighting each other or fighting other people in Ring of Honor. Like back then, it was a really good time to be a Ring of Honor fan. Like back then. Today's Ring of Honor is like, what's happening? We just celebrated Athena's women's Ring of Honor championship title reign, and it's like no one knows about it. So why are we celebrating it if it's not on Dynamite? It should be on Dynamite. She should be making regular appearances on Dynamite and Ring of Honor to weave both of the shows together, rather than her saying that, you know, she's like, Tony Khan, you know, you could book me for AEW Dynamite. You know, it's the same company, right? Just go over there. You can attend an AEW Dynamite show, an AEW Rampage show, an AEW Collision show if you work Ring of Honor. You can go. You don't need someone's permission. It's the same company. Like, I could understand if, like, you know, if Athena was part of TNA and TNA was not allowing her to go to like WWE for like NXT or whatever, and she says that, hey, Shawn Michaels, you know, you can book me for that show too, right? Blah, blah, blah. That makes more sense in a logical sense. But, you know, Ring of Honor is part of AEW. You could just walk in to AEW Dynamite, show off the belt, show off, you know, what you've been doing, because a lot of people don't know what Athena has been doing, but yet then we celebrated her long title reign, you know, championship title reign. And it's like, but what did you do? How come there's no recaps on AEW Dynamite? How come there's no recaps on Rampage or Collision to be like, oh, this is what's happening in Ring of Honor, so you guys should end up getting the subscription to the Honor Club to see what's happening. There's a small subsection of people that watch the Ring of Honor product, and even then, I don't even know what's going on. And even then, it sounds kind of like cringy and like, she's getting the reps in. Everybody's getting the reps in over in Ring of Honor, but like, it's not being shown. And if it's not being shown, how can it truly be celebrated, you know? And it's not me trying to knock her. It's not me trying to be like, oh, it's so bad. It's the concept of looking at it like you're representing Ring of Honor. You're also representing AEW. So, you know, you are one in the same. So why are you not just going over to AEW to be like, well, I'm champion. I need some new fighters because I beat everybody over there. No one could take this from me. You know, let me do that. Or strike a deal with Stardom and send Athena over there to Stardom with that championship title and see if one of the Stardom girls can take that Ring of Honor Women's Championship title away from her, and then do video packages and recaps and be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen of Twitter, hey, AEW fans that are sickos, you know, go and go and watch this video package that this is what Athena is doing. But Tony Khan doesn't care about that, but other people do. Brianna, thank you for welcome to the family over here on the Square Circle Podcast on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting too. I did see your comment. You said facts. I do appreciate that. I was just in my little mode of like ranting. And Gio, I saw your comment too that you say I saw Nigel's performance at All In. I have serious doubts at his current capabilities. I believe it's just, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see him wrestle yet, but I could just say that it's probably like rusty. He's probably rusty. That's what I would say, because he hasn't done this in a while, man. But Nigel McGuinness, like, okay, if you guys want to know what kind of style Nigel McGuinness has, it is very technical. That's why him versus Danielson works, because it is technical. If you are brand new here, I'm Marie Shadows, and I love technical wrestling. However, if wrestlers have the full package, meaning that they can adapt into the ring by doing both technical, a little bit of high flying, a little bit of like luchador stuff, and also be okay to good on the mic, then I could be like, you are an all-around wrestler and I like you. But for the most part, I like technical wrestling, because I love breaking that stuff down. I love telling people, why somebody would do a wrist lock into a hammer lock, and why, the headlock takeovers, why the arm drags. Like Ricky Steamboat is really, really big into the arm drags, and how doing so many arm drags on your opponent can potentially lead you to a victory, because you can't get them dizzy, you can't get them disoriented, and then bam, you come in and you sweep them in and you do a small package, a roll up, 1, 2, 3, bam. Now do you understand why sometimes a arm drag can be very beneficial, and how the main man, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, propelled that, and the psychology behind that, and how simple that is? That is why I get passionate. That is why I get excited talking about wrestling. That is why I do tape study series from time to time, where I break down the match and can explain why sometimes less is more in a wrestling match. And then think about it. If a wrestler wins by a roll-up or a small package because they have because they did the arm drags and the wrestler got disoriented and stuff like that, then imagine what match 2 can happen, because that wrestler is looking for revenge. That wrestler is all like, oh, that should have never happened to me. I should be smarter about it. And then they go and study, they become better at the craft, and then they come back and have match 2. And you as the fan is looking forward to match 2, because it's going to be so, so much better, because now you know what to expect, but you don't fully know what to expect. So that is what I currently love to do, is talk about wrestling and break down wrestling and like that. But yeah, let's continue on with this as well. Fabulous Moolah was champion for 30 years. No one talks about it because there's a gap of 27 years between title defenses. Oh, that was a whole different time back then. I'm just going to say it. Moolah's time, that was a whole different time back then. But it does count in the conversation.
Not even on the main show. He's on the Saturday show or one of the weekend shows, and maybe a few matches during the pay-per-view. That's it. So all of a sudden he's out there. They haven't done any video packages. And he used to look different with the hair, obviously.
He was blonde, now it's dark.
But the spiky hair, too.
Well, yes.
But there's a chance that they may be overthinking the amount of people that understand who he is and what his history is.
They are preaching to the choir without bothering to convert any of the heathens, is what you're saying.
There's a lot of heathens.
A lot of heathens out there. But so there's this guy that's never even on Wednesday night saying Bryan Danielson, the world champion, is afraid of me. But Tony Khan isn't afraid, and Nigel shows a contract. I've got this from Tony Khan at Grand Slam. It's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. Now, and then they have since either put up a graphic or a tweet or whatever. Well, if Bryan Danielson is able to show up or wrestle or whatever, however they phrased it, but wait. So Danielson was going to defend the world title against Darby Allin. But then in the angle, Danielson is bagged and injured. So Moxley goes to Darby and says, since the world champion is indisposed, you can't wrestle him. How about we wrestle for the title shot against the world champion? And Darby agrees. But then Nigel comes out and says, well, the world champion should at least compete, even if he's not defending the title. How can you be cleared? Well, as long as you're not defending a title, go ahead on out there with that broken leg. You'll be fine. What? How? What?
And again, what was achieved with the Moxley turn or the Moxley attack on Danielson? They hit the ring, beat him to the point where he was just carried out of the ring by the team with an oxygen mask. They tried to suffocate him.
Yes.
If you want to beat him and get the match in a couple of weeks, why would you do that? And then he does this whole thing with Darby. He must feel like the biggest idiot of all. All of a sudden, Nigel got the title match.
Well, but also, and somebody that wasn't even there when all that happened to him is the one that gets a match with him on the big show, while the other fucking. So anyway,
it's interesting. I mean, the idea of Nigel returning. I know he did the match at Wembley, but him against Danielson. not only is that the storied match, but that was a pretty physical feud. I mean, it was at times uncomfortable with some of the headbutts and stuff.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Danielson's not what he was then, and he has to worry about all sorts of issues health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And Nigel, I know he's had a lot of time off, but there's good and bad to that.
Well,
there's another part of this whole story, the AEW lawsuit.
Okay, so we're not gonna look at the lawsuit. The one that Stephen P. New is doing with the boys that want to get money and stuff like that. So I think there was like other ones that, but it's totally right. Like Nigel McGuinness fighting Danielson.
Popeye's wings.
Okay, so hold on. Before we watch this one, I'm gonna take a tiny little break. So I'm gonna take a tiny little break. When I come back, we will watch this, and then hit that like button, and I will be right back. Okay, let's go.
Jay got a big singles match with Sammy Guevara. Brian, remember when Sammy Guevara was over?
I do. I remember when we thought he was going to be one of the breakout stars, and
You remember when they were standing up and down screaming until they got to know him personally, and he kept continuing to be a dipshit over and over. They have all successfully teamed up to negate Sammy Guevara. He came out and they're like, nothing. And they have the match, the video game match. Sammy backflipped.
Wait, did you even say who he's wrestling?
Ricochet and Sammy Guevara.
Okay, I didn't know if you said Ricochet.
Yes. Well, yes. I think I said it. Well, God damn it. I'll say it again. Ricochet and Sammy Guevara. And again, they have the video game match. Did you see Sammy backflip off the entranceway and almost break his own leg?
Yes. He's loco.
Oh, and he made sure to show us at first. And again, people used to love that, right? They popped on a guy diving off the goddamn balcony, but Then they didn't care. And I guess, did he finally get enough heat on himself that they just said, fuck it, we're giving up on Sammy?
I don't know, but I think a lot of the problem beyond personal things or behavioral things was they tied him to Jericho for too long. And they broke him away once, and then they brought him back to being Jericho's lackey.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, one of the only things left to do is have him do a feud with Jericho and beat him. And the last thing anyone wants to see is him feud with Chris Jericho.
Yep.
So it creates a real problem.
Well, and also Ricochet, the new high-priced high flyer, he won the match with 2 kicks to the head and some kind of suplex.
What?
He does all the dives and all the flips, and then his finish, I'm going to kick him in the head and suplex him.
What?
And he just kind of beat him flat, but then rigor mortis came in and speared Ricochet. So this, again...
Hold on, is that Jim Cornette's nickname for Mortis, for the guy in the mask, the freaking big luchador? Like, is that his nickname? I think this is the first time that I'm hearing his nickname. I'm used to like Okodi, which is Okada, which is still wrong, but I get it. But like, is that the nickname that he's giving the guy in the mask now?
And he's one of the new masked luchadors, but he's the big one.
He's the big one.
The fairly thick fellow. And when he spears Ricochet, Ricochet sells that like grim death, and Sammy comes back in with a chair and saves the guy that he just got beat by. And then Mortis leaves, and Sammy and Ricochet shook hands. So, what the fuck?
Does Ricochet seem special or just like one of the guys there already?
He's one of the guys. Have we heard him speak yet?
We've seen him stare at a TV monitor. And they're going to do him and Ospreay. That's, one of the big matches that they're excited about.
I mean, we've heard him speak in the WWF, so I'm not excited to hear him speak, but he's in a new company and...
Oh, not this again. Come on. My headset, man.
He's already going 15 minutes with middle card or unimportant people, and, and he stands around and watches TV every once in a while. And gets speared by a fucking miscellaneous masked Mexican guy. Well,
okay, hold
before
on.
we talk...
Is this the ratings one? Talk about the AEW ratings. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we could
because I want to talk about Rupp Arena, a place near and dear to my heart. But before we do that, what were the ratings on this fiasco for the national audience before we examine how many people in Lexington didn't want to see it?
AEW Dynamite on September 11th on TBS, 8 to 10:08 p.m. on average, watched by 716,000 viewers.
Holy shit, they're back over 700,000.
That's a good thing,
hooray,
by the way,
hooray, hallelujah, hallelujah.
According to WrestleNomics, Dynamite was outranked in the key demo among cable originals in prime time only by MTV's Video Music Awards. So, and they did a 728,000 viewer average. Although you have to think a lot of that, if not the majority, skews young.
Mm-hmm.
It positively stops young. I can't imagine anybody over the age of 30 watching anything with... I saw highlights on the news is what I did, so...
Well, let's go to the quarterly hours and see how they compare to previous weeks. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m.
I don't really know what's up with my headset. It is a Bluetooth headset, so it's connected to my laptop. So sometimes when the video is playing, there will be like this weird like rumbling sound, and then like no sound, and then it goes back to sound. So earlier I was asking if like the video sound was messing up for people listening to the live stream, and it wasn't. It's just my headset being my headset.
Moxley tape promo, the Christian Cage live promo, the Don Callis, Will Ospreay and family backstage promo, and the start of Jack Perry versus Lio Rush.
So after this, I know like I've been really big on listening to Jim Cornette and also like looking for like the John Moxley stuff like that and just giving my opinion on stuff like that. After this, we are going to try something, okay? And well, maybe not, okay, because it's just audio. But after this, I will be breaking down Ricochet's promo to Will Ospreay because people on the IWC on Twitter say that Ricochet has improved. You guys don't know what a promo is. Ricochet has not improved. You can tell that he cannot call a promo on the fly because it takes way too long for him to think. Sometimes, you know, you got to treat promo like it's going to be a rap battle in a way. You got to be prepared if like someone's going to roast you with a stinger that you have one like just right to clap back. Listen, man, this is why, like, you know, sometimes you got to grow up in like Chicago, Detroit, New York City, Cali, maybe Texas. I don't know about Texas, but maybe Texas, because sometimes people from Texas have some really good clapbacks. But like, if you really want to learn how to clap back at somebody to using your promo, you got to be from one of the cities. You can't be like, you know, Ricochet from what, Kentucky? Because I mean, like, I don't know what, like, the clapback system, the clapback game is probably not that good in Kentucky. I might get heat for that, but I'm just saying.
888,000 viewers.
Oh, okay. Well,
that is the high point for the episode, in case you didn't know.
I was figuring it was going to be. That is way better than they've normally been doing at the top of the hour. So I assume they got handed a nice little audience. And also from their average, I can see that it's going to start plummeting like a turd.
Well, the turd continues in quarter two, 8:15, 8:30 p.m. The continuation of Perry versus Rush with picture-in-picture. The Adam Page, Jeff Jarrett backstage angle. 704,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. So 184,000 people in 15 minutes.
Well, we go to quarter three, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m.
Hi, Denisha. I hope you, oh, you're just getting home, so you made it home safe. Yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the chat. Cool. Just settle in. Like I said, just a couple moments ago that, after this, we will be listening to Ricochet's, promo against, Ospreay, and no, he has not improved.
The Private Party, Commander, Moxley, Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac live angle, an ad break, the Learning Trees backstage promo, and the start of Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara with picture-in-picture. 685,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, now they're down over 200,000 in 45 minutes, and they've almost got to go up. They have to go up at some point just to make their average now.
Well, we go to quarter four, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The continuation of Ricochet versus Guevara, a recap of All In, an ad break, the Okada Takeshita backstage angle, and the start of Darby Allin's live promo.
That's so much in like that little bit of time.
691,000 viewers.
That's
up, but not very far. Maybe I'm wrong. That 888 for 15 minutes at the top will artificially inflate their average a good bit.
That 888 for 1 minute while the Big Bang Theory is still on is what it is. We go now to the big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m., quarter five.
Mm-hmm.
Darby Allin and John Moxley's live promo, Christopher Daniels and Nigel McGuinness backstage, and the start of Mariah May versus Queen Aminata with picture-in-picture and full-screen ads. 720,000 viewers.
Full screen ads.
Okay, so they picked up 29,000 people at the top of the hour to bring them to the second highest quarter of the show so far at 720,000.
Well, we continue that into quarter six, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. The continuation of Queen Aminata versus Mariah May, the post-match, the Young Bucks backstage promo, an ad break, and the Learning Tree versus the Iron Savages.
Oh boy.
680,000 viewers.
Wow, and
the low point in the key demo, it ties with another segment, but 251,000.
well, that's the low point for the show so far, and they lost the 29,000 that they got back at the top of the hour, plus another 11,000 in that 15-minute segment.
Yep.
Well, we go to quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Learning Tree conglomeration live angle with coins in the car, an ad break, Nigel McGuinness's live promo, and Hook's promo on the street.
What?
697,000 viewers.
I feel like we saw that before.
And quarter 8?
Quarter 8, I remind you, we have an 8-minute overrun.
8-minute
Quarter 8,
overrun, man.
9:45 to 10 p.m. The World Tag Team Title Contendership Casino Gauntlet match with picture-in-picture ads twice. 687,000 viewers. 8-minute overrun, match continues. 679,000.
Wow, so the overrun narrowly beat out quarter 6 for the lowest rating of the entire process there. They went from 888 to 679 over the course of the festivities.
And the key demo, the trend line, it's below the trend line. It really takes off below the trend line in the second hour. And a lot of that you have to think is because of the MTV Awards, because if you have to choose between that and this, you're going to go with that.
But then again, who's watching the MTV Awards? Wait, is that it from him? Why did it stop? Oh, that is it. Okay. You can see how the numbers go up and down for that. It is, like I said, you got to take note about like all this stuff happening. So let me see if I can find the video, because now with all the big people, well, not really big people, but more content creators coming out being like, Miro asked for his release, this happened, and blah blah blah. They're making videos, so like it kind of floods the YouTube algorithm at this very moment. And by the way, there is a 6-minute video of like Ricochet versus Beast Mortos, and again the cover picture has Bryce Remsburg doing this, right? This thing right here, what I was telling you last time. Like, why are you doing this? Clearly, Beast Mortos has Ricochet in a chin lock. It is called a rest hold. I'm sorry if I have to peel back the curtain, but it's called a rest hold, right? You're supposed to be checking if like Beast Mortos is not choking the guy. What are you doing? What is this? Like, I really wish that Bryce Remsburg doesn't have to be so sensitive and understand that it looks stupid to do this. Like, are you gonna give up, sir? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be checking. You're supposed to be checking if the guy is choking him, not like over here and you're nowhere near the guy to check if he's being choked or not. It's still a chin lock. You could still choke someone out. It is still a dangerous move. You could apply that to real life. Like, you can. Don't do it, though. Don't do it. Do not try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be stupid. I'm just saying that in wrestling, it can happen. But again, why does Bryce always has to be down on one knee and be like, hello, you want to give up? You want to give up? But like, what is this? My God. I just sometimes wish that Bryce would stop being sensitive and be like, yo, we're trying to tell you to improve. Stop overreacting. The same thing with Aubrey Edwards. Stop trying to be the freaking highlight of the match. You're not. You shouldn't be. Anyway, it was SmackDown's overrun, but we were listening to the AEW ratings. Doesn't AEW still have like an overrun? There wasn't that much of a overrun on SmackDown. I am confused. I'm confused by a little bit. Anyway, yeah. I mean, if I show it and talk about it, it's probably gonna get he's probably gonna get blocked. Like, I just don't understand what Bryce does in the ring, man, as a referee. I just don't understand. Okay, where is this promo? Why did I lose this promo? It doesn't even want to like pop up as I just put like in AEW, but that pops up. That pops up. Come on, it should be here already. Oh my god, do I have to just put in like Ricochet like promo and like so we can hear it? By the way, I don't think it's very smart, right? Because as I'm going through this and I'm looking what YouTube is showing me, that episode of AEW Dynamite on September 11th, the headline here for the AEW clip of Jon Moxley, right? Because he sends a message to Daniel Bryan and they picked out the quote, and the quote says, "Today I choose war." This is why I kept saying all on 9/11 to AEW, but like it seems like AEW doesn't really care. And Tony Khan doesn't care. 9/11, Jon Moxley should not be saying, "Today I choose war." No one in that company is self-aware. No one. I just want to say that I hate that I had to realize and learn today from Brian, the co-host on the Jim Cornette, is that Jon Moxley is performing for himself and has no self-aware about anything, you know. Nah, I'm not looking for his all-out promo. I'm looking for the AEW one where he's like, "I went to Tony Khan and I got a match and I only had like 3." Well, we know he only has like 3 matches, but it's a recent one that people were like, "Oh my god, he improved," which is like, no, he didn't. He just doesn't know how to talk on the fly. It's here unless like, you know, it's eluding me because I had it up. I was testing the stream out. Come on, dude. Come on, YouTube. Oh, here it is. Roll out. Okay, I can't. Hold on. So, for the sake of this, right? Yeah, his Dynamite promo. Thank you, Denisha. All right, so for the sake of this, I mean, what can I do? I mean, I can try to show it, but there's no point to show it. I want to bring awareness to the you know what? Because I you know what I want to do? That's not what I want to do. I just want to listen to it and talk about it. Why am I keep pressing all the wrong stuff? There we go. Let me just change this image. Because I know that, you know, Don Stevens out there will just come down striking on the video when I'm like, listen, I'm trying to help improve AEW. But here comes Don Stevens, and we all know who Don Stevens is, or we at least think we know who Don Stevens is. Do I have the other picture here? Where's the other picture at? I do not. Should I download the other picture as we wait? Actually, no, I don't have to do that. As I say, I don't have to do that. I did it anyway. Great. Let me grab the other picture so I could put it there, and then we could just listen to the audio. And then we could talk about the audio and see if anybody has any, you know, want to say that he did improve. And it's like, you know, I understand. It's not worth the Don Stevens strike, but at the same time, if they understood what the copyright laws are, like, we should be okay. Just because I'm like, yo, you got to understand copyright laws. We're doing something, we're reacting to it, and whatnot. It is gonna have, I gotta take the filter off of it. I say I gotta take the filter, not the properties. Okay, so this is the picture we're going to use, but we are going to be listening to the promo from last night's Dynamite, which was 9/19/2024. So that way you guys know. I know they don't care, but you could always contest it. You should always contest stuff if you know the laws and whatnot. By the way, if you guys don't know, aside from me working for like WWE in 2018, I do have a background, bachelor's degree in creative writing, along with a publishing certificate, and I had to take classes that basically talked about copyright laws. So I know some stuff. Anyway, so we're gonna be listening to. I'm gonna say it again. We are going to be listening to Ricochet's promo from, this is exclusive post-match comments, 9/18, because today's Friday, wow. 9/18/2024 AEW Dynamite, okay? This is the promo that we're listening to, and we are going to talk about it. Let me see if this will work. So that way I can have control and talk to you guys. Okay. That work. All right, you guys ready? Again, AEW Dynamite 9/18/2024. This is the backstage comments of Ricochet's promo. 3, 2, 1.
Congratulations on your victory tonight. Can you...
Renee, my apologies. Can I have a word with Ricochet? Sorry, Renee, sorry. It's all out. It got a bit heated, but it's always been heated between us. My bad.
Honestly, Will, it's not your bad. You don't got to be sorry about anything. But since you're here, there is something that I think you need to know. I've been thinking a lot about what you told me, Will. Do you remember what you said?
I said, get your wins up.
That's right. You told me.
Listen, I don't understand. I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. You guys don't see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go back for a second. You guys don't understand that, like, I was saying this earlier when I started the stream, that AEW not only has a pacing problem, but AEW also has a storytelling problem. And AEW's problem is that they want viewers that were at least born in like the 80s and the 90s, right? And that has watched wrestling as much and as closely as Tony Khan, to remember every single story beat that AEW tries to resurrect in 2024 by relying on the past storylines that have been done on the indies and try to bring it to the 2024 table and present it to everybody as these are new feuds, or we are trying to continue it with a different story. But sometimes you just gotta like let it die. You gotta let it go. But see, this is the thing about Ricochet, is that, well, actually, no, it's not really the thing about Ricochet. Ricochet is trying to get in his reps to have better promos, and I respect that. I respect that he's trying to get in his reps, but it just doesn't come across as like a promo. Even though they say that like there are many different ways to cut a promo, there are many different ways to learn what a promo is and how to do a promo, but it seems more like an insider thing, an insider situation, rather than a community situation, if that makes sense. It seems more like you have to be in on the know. And if you're not in on the know, you're going to feel left out, and it's going to feel kind of weird that Ricochet is talking to Will Ospreay and is like, yo, you remember what you said? Yo, this and that, blah, 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 and try to act all tough and try to act all hard and whatnot. And it's like, yo, pick something. Like, who watching AEW right now remembers their feud from Rev Pro, 1% at best? I don't even know their feud at Rev Pro, dude. I only know what I saw through, like, clips and everybody that keeps on, clips and like other things, but like I don't even know their feud in Rev Pro. Like, what the hell were they feuding about? Who's the best? Like, you can't keep doing that. You can't keep having the same feuds of who's the best on this, who's the best on that, the best this, the best that. You can't keep having that. It's gonna get boring if nothing else is happening. But I will say that I do appreciate Ricochet trying to get in the reps, but you can tell that he's not fully comfortable and he doesn't know, because he just shut down Ospreay. Ospreay comes to him with an olive branch to be like, hey, yo, man, I'm sorry about talking about all that shit. Ospreay, why the fuck you going back on talking all that shit? You guys, like, just let it be. Just let it be the thing of like, yo, let's compare bank accounts. Like, all that stuff you talked online, like, go through with it. Because people want to see drama. People want to see, like, two people go at it. Why do you think, like, Jerry Springer and, like, Maury were, like, so big back in the 90s? Because we thrived on bullshit entertainment like that. But we all loved it. Like, I'm a 90s baby, as you can tell. Like, I watched that stuff. I watched Jerry Springer growing up. I watched Maury growing up. That was drama, and I understood it to be drama. I didn't take it as real, but today in 2024, people would take it as so real that, oh my God, this has to be so true about, the man cheating on like all the girls and stuff, or the crazy wild stuff about like, you didn't know that chick was a stepmom, or you didn't know that chick was, the mother and you were having a relationship with her. Like, it was wild in the 90s. Okay. But we took it as like entertainment. Where I'm going with this, I don't know. But I think it goes to the point of Ospreay should have never extended the olive branch of like, yo, I'm so sorry about talking all that shit on the internet. Just go through with it and be like, yo, you want to disrespect me and come here to AEW? You couldn't, I don't know, like, say something to Ricochet, right? But this is the problem, is that like everybody in AEW wants to be friends. Everybody in AEW, it's basically all friends wrestling. And, it doesn't, you don't know who's the babyface, who's the heel, because it sounds like even though Ospreay basically gave like the olive branch and here comes Ricochet to cut him off, like naturally you'll think that Ricochet is the heel because now he has something to prove. He decided to run from WWE and come to AEW, so that way this once in a lifetime again match, while these two guys are older, mature men. Mature, I use it very, very loosely because Ospreay is not really mature like I thought he was, but that's just me. But like, here comes Ricochet now having to prove himself, so you would naturally think that Ricochet should be the heel here, but let's keep going.
Ricochet, a huge congratulations on your victory tonight. Can you...
Renee, my apologies. Can I have a word with Ricochet if that's okay?
Sorry, Renee, sorry.
It's all out. It got a bit heated, but it's always been heated between us. My bad.
Honestly, Will, not your bad. You don't got to be sorry about anything. But since you're here, there is something that I think you need to know. I've been thinking a lot about what you told me, Will. Do you remember what you said?
I said get your wings
I hate
up.
this.
That's right. You told me to go get my wins up and to come back and see you, like you the big main event and all this, just because you got that title, right? Well, let me show you how it is from my point of view. From my perspective, from the moment that I stepped foot here in AEW, it's been nothing but everybody else trying to come out of their way to call me out, like they got to prove to the entire world that they better than Ricochet. So it seems like
Ricochet, dude, you just got there. You are baby fresh new in AEW. So of course people are going to be like, yo, you know, you should get some more wins. You should do this. You should do that. Like, you got to prove yourself. AEW is all about proving yourself, right? Because it's all elite wrestling, like the elite. You got to prove yourself. But dude, you just came in here. You're like, you're baby fresh. This is why, like, I don't think nothing has improved in his promo, because, like, you know, he doesn't know what to talk about. He doesn't know what the promo should be about, because he just cut off Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is extending the olive branch, and now he wants to give Will Ospreay grief because Will Ospreay, he's a champion. Of course, a champion is going to tell somebody that just came in, hey, get your wins up. Maybe you'll get a title shot, right? A champion would do that. Where else do we see this? WWE, where somebody comes in and they're like, yo, I want to fight you for your title. And what does that champion do? That champion says, get in line. Go to the back of the line. Go get some wins. Go to the back of the line means get some wins. That is what Ospreay just told Ricochet. Yo, bro, you just came in, you're baby fresh. Go get some wins. Let me see how you progress. Let me see if you're able to beat these guys that I've beaten, and I could get you a title shot. So yeah, people are going to be like, yo, go get a title shot. Like, Ricochet does not know what the promo is and where to go. And that is why in this promo, he does not improve. It's like, bro, we can like, you know, disprove this stuff with like facts and put it in a logical sense of like, therefore you need these wins to get a title shot. You are new. You're at the back of the line, right? Like, come on. And by the way, in chat, the comments are, he's stuttering over his words and he's not a natural talker. He probably is like a natural talker in a regular setting where like there's no camera on him and, you know, you're having like a one-on-one chat with him like at the bar, like he's probably okay. But the only reason why he's stuttering over his words is because his brain is moving faster than his mouth. And I've been there because I do stutter as well. That's because like our brains move faster than our mouth. Sometimes it could be nerves. Sometimes it could just be the way that it is. Like the camera is on you. You know you got to act. You know you got to do this promo. It's okay. It's totally fine. But for anybody that like ever wants to attack him for that, please don't do that. Like I said, the only reason why he's stuttering over his words is because his brain is moving faster than his mouth. But again, if you don't know your end goal, if you don't know the points that you need to make, and you cut off Ospreay with that olive branch, this is why we're getting this promo. He just had a match, dude. That's a little unfair. He just had a match.
Everybody here at AEW is worried about Ricochet more than Ricochet's worried about them. And it seems that everybody is more worried about me than they are about you. Because I don't...
What does that have to do with anything? What does like the worrying part have to do about anything? What does it have to do about anything? It doesn't. That makes no sense for this promo. Because it's like... people... I don't know if people, when I say people, maybe like the AEW wrestlers, you know, I don't know what he means. People are worried about Ricochet because Ricochet has the WWE logo attached to him. He has the ex-WWE logo attached to him. So that's why people might be worried, because it's like, it's an ex-WWE guy. Here he comes to take a spot from a homegrown AEW talent, which we barely see anymore. So they're like, yo, he's going to come in. He's going to show us up. And I guess that's why they're worried. But why do people have to be worried about Ospreay? Like, I'm so confused about that. I am so confused about that.
I don't see nobody trying to call you out, Will.
Everybody calls out Will Ospreay. What is he talking about? I've called him out for being unsafe and like not selling. Other people on their podcast have called him out for not selling and, you know, shit like that. Wrestlers that want a title shot, call him out. Maybe not. But like, why? Why? Someone tell me. Especially in the VOD. Someone tell me.
So let me do the honors. I know next week you busy with Kyle. You trying to reform the United Empire. You trying to win some tag team gold. And honestly,
Okay. One of my buddies did bring up the United Empire thing, and I was like, what? Like, what? And then I get it now. But see, this is the thing that, as much as I love the United Empire, you know what? I'm going to keep it to myself. But, man. Okay. All right, cool. Has he ever considered acting improv classes? They can help a lot with public speaking. I don't know, man. He might be like he doesn't need them.
honestly, I wish you nothing but the best. But the
How does he? Okay, you know what? Never
following
mind.
week, I hope you're not too busy, because I took your advice. See, I went and talked to Tony, and I got myself a match.
Which, by the way, what advice did he take from Will Ospreay? Will Ospreay told him directly that to get your wins up, and then maybe you can get a title shot, right? I'm probably paraphrasing, but that's like the gist of it, right? The gist of it is that Will Ospreay told him, yo, hey, I'm glad that you're here in AEW. And then like all of a sudden Ricochet was just like, nah, no, don't talk to me. You know, don't do that. And then Will Ospreay was like, all right, man, why don't you get your wins up and you could challenge me for this championship title? Like, it's one of those things of like, it doesn't make sense. He didn't tell you to go to Tony Khan and like ask for a title. To be perfectly honest with you, nothing is original. Nothing is really wrong with the United Empire. It's just that I have some personal feelings about the United Empire. Now, since everybody is scattered and you know, I just have some personal feelings that like, I don't know. I want the best for United Empire. I love the United Empire, but it honestly does not feel like the United Empire anymore. And, you know, trying to do this, like maybe a reunion with the United Empire in AEW to like New Japan Pro Wrestling. And yeah, I don't know, dude. There's nothing wrong with the United Empire. I just have personal feelings because United Empire was really good. And now I'm just like, I don't know anymore. I think Ricochet had like 3 matches. So like he has 3 wins under his belt. And then Ricochet goes and like, hey, Tony Khan, let me get a title match. Tony Khan is like, yeah.
So on October 2nd, at the 5-year anniversary for AEW's Dynamite, you see, I got myself a match. It's going to be Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for your international championship.
Too early.
See, Will, you and I have had some matches that literally changed the landscape of professional wrestling. And over these past couple of years, yeah, you have been on another level. But homie, I'm still Ricochet and I am out of this world. And on October 2nd, you're going to find out why. So I will be seeing you soon. Real soon. Little bro.
You cannot use little bro like after that. Like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. No, I'm gonna tell you guys right now that Ricochet did not improve at all in his promo skills, because each and every one of those points that he was making, you could definitely just not really disprove it, but like just show him fact about, bro, you just came in, your baby, you're a baby, man. Like, of course you got to get some wins. It's the same thing in WWE. If somebody went to a champion, they were like, yo, I want to challenge you for your championship title, the champion could be like, no, what have you done to deserve it? So why don't you get in the back of the line? That's exactly what Will Ospreay was saying. And for everyone being like, oh my God, Ricochet improved. No, he didn't. He has yet to really improve and bring about this thing, you know, bring about who Ricochet is. Like, leaving WWE, if it was so bad because Ricochet could not be Ricochet, then he has to like 110% prove that he is better off in AEW. Just because he could do the same flips that he did in WWE doesn't make him better than anything else. Like he didn't try to rebrand himself into something different, to something that he wanted. If he did, then maybe it'll be a lot more natural. It's the same thing. Nothing is original. It's the same thing that Ricochet does. This guy gave up an IC title PLE feud with Braun Breaker so he could do this. I said the same thing. Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. I say the same thing. Comic books for the sickos. Yeah, I hate that. But this shows that Tony Khan does not have any patience at all to book these two. Do you think New Japan Pro Wrestling letting AEW borrow faction IP issue Bullet Club Gold? It sort of is an issue, but at the same time, it's not an issue. Like, hold on. I need some water. Gio is totally right. Nothing is original. I'll get back to your comment in a second. But Gio is totally right that he's supposed to sound tough and confrontational, and he doesn't. This sounds like a school kid telling his bully, "I'll get you." Totally, 100%. Yep. Well, I mean, if the sickos like it, that's fine. I'm just afraid there are not enough sickos to keep the company afloat. That is also true. Okay, so I honestly think that it can hurt and make the idea that New Japan Pro Wrestling letting AEW borrow the IP faction names, such as, like, you know, we have another subsection of Bullet Club Gold. But the times that I interviewed Clark Connors on this show, which I miss Clark Connors, he's an awesome guy. He doesn't even know why there's a Bullet Club Gold in AEW. So, I mean, Bullet Club Gold in AEW has done a fantastic job, so I will leave that alone. But the United Empire, man, to me just doesn't feel like the United Empire anymore. Like, I've ranted about it. I've said it in my other videos about it. Like, it just doesn't feel like the family that it once felt. Yo, Ronan, what's up? Thanks for joining the chat. The best version of Ricochet is Prince Puma. He didn't talk and amass and just wrestle. I really didn't watch Lucha Underground, but I do know that he was Prince Puma. But I do get that. I can never buy into what Ricochet says on the mic. He needs a mouthpiece. He does. He does need a mouthpiece. He does. He does. He does need a mouthpiece. Or at least just get some help. Take some improv classes. I really wanted to go over that and be like, no, he did not improve at all. That Darby Allin and Moxley segment, I am surprised this video is up by this creator. And Don Stevens didn't decide to, like, strike that person. But yeah, that John Moxley and Darby Allin segment, it was like two middle schoolers like in a ring. Like, how stupid can you guys get with that, with AEW? How dumb can it get? Did we go over everything? I don't know if I want to repeat it again about them having a pacing problem, but, like, given the fact that you know, the 5-year anniversary is right around the corner, it's kind of sad that we have to use WWE power, ex-WWE power, meaning like Ricochet, to be part of, like, the headline. It's not a bad thing. It's also not a good thing. I'm just neutral about it. But it's sort of like, you know, the 5-year anniversary should be celebrating the AEW pillars. It should be celebrating the AEW homegrown talent. But no, here we are. We're having, you know, a sickle match, meaning Ospreay versus Ricochet. And it's like, man, like, why? Why are we doing that so early? You know, it's one of those things of, like, you got to learn how to book long-term storytelling with short-term storytelling and whatnot. No, I still do the same thing. Whatever Twitter tells me, that's what I go by. I don't watch I don't watch AEW like that, even though people would be like, oh my God, but how can you have an opinion? Because I can have an opinion. I've been watching wrestling for so long, talking about it, do tape study series. Like I know what to like talk about and what to shine the light on. But no, I just basically whatever Twitter tells me. I don't think I want to. I think not all of Jim Cornette stuff is gone through. I'm just seeing what else we could watch for the time being. But yeah, I wanted to like really talk about AEW and like all the stupid shenanigans that they do, and it's like there's no rhyme or reason. Like the trios match that had Okada and like that, those are all spots. I don't understand how people can enjoy spots. I'm like, I could just spot them all out, man. All puns intended. I hope Samantha stay in WWE. I don't want to see her in the company. I don't want to see her there either. Their biggest hype matches are from other older promotions. Yep, which is really, really sad. Rampage is the least important show. Yeah, it is. My MLW work is going great. I still have to put up some stuff. I will be at the December show over here in New York City, so I'll be there. It depends. I might end up wrapping up soon, but it depends. Like I wanted to stay on topic because the topic is that like AEW fans are afraid to talk about the AEW pacing. So we're not really gonna like watch like WWE stuff. It's more about like the pacing, why we're doing the tag team title match at Grand Slam. Like Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher should not be in a tag team match this early to try and like reestablish the United Empire just to go after the Young Bucks. And we know the Young Bucks are winning, right? Spoiler alert. The Young Bucks are probably winning at Grand Slam. It would not make no sense for Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher to have tag team championship titles. But if you're gonna send me something about like AEW related, Grand Slam related, Ospreay related, Ricochet related, Young Bucks related, probably. All right, what is it? I mean, you could probably drop it in the chat. Probably gonna take a mini break. But you could drop it in chat. It should let you drop it in chat. Just because of like the link should be dropped in chat. You know what? I haven't. Oh, Keely Chow, what's up? Thank you for joining the family right here on Square Circle Podcast on YouTube. Thank you for joining. I'm a massive AEW fan, but Tony has to keep the Jericho stuff off air. It's painful. Yeah, man. It is so painful. I saw a flash somewhere. I have no idea where that flash came from. It won't let you. Oh my god. Okay. How do I what is this? Oh, that's interesting. That's How do I send it to me via Twitch. Cause I know you're also on Twitch too. Send it as a whisper on Twitch. I don't know why. It doesn't want to do that. It doesn't want to let you do it. Or you could just wait for me to like figure it out on YouTube. It's up to you, dude. La, 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 la. You might as well just send it over on Twitch. I'll just say that right now, because I don't know where to look for it to I didn't even do anything. So is it? Let me see. Does it matter? No, that doesn't. Okay, that doesn't affect it. I would have to ask somebody like, where do I go to change that? Okay, cool. Oh, what? Okay. I was not expecting that that picture. I was not expecting that picture. Okay. I got it. That picture threw me off, man. If the ratings stayed stagnant, do you think this would focus Tony to change? Maybe not. Someone is gonna have to like really force Tony's hand. If I'm gonna be like completely honest, like someone will have to and really wake him up to be like, bro, you can't keep doing this. Okay. Why does this? Oh, because I don't have the. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Or with him getting the new Turner deal, he'll continue to do the same. Yeah, he'll continue to do the same. He doesn't learn. All right. We're gonna watch this video and then I'm probably just gonna wrap stuff up and whatnot. But first, I am going to take a mini little break. I will be right back. If you're over here on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, make sure to hit that like button. All those likes push this video out into the YouTube atmosphere, so that way more fans could come in. We could all celebrate together about professional wrestling, talk about professional wrestling. You know, so hit that like button. And over on the Twitch side of things, if you do not want any type of ads, then by all means, you know, send over that Twitch Prime sub. But I'll be right back. Yes, I saw that Samoa Joe is in a video game for Like a Dragon, and it's a pirate game. And I do not know about that series. I just know that when Kenny Omega was basically collaborating with Like a Dragon, I thought the game was dead. So I didn't know that they were gonna come back with a pirate version of it. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect when it comes to a Yakuza game that's like, pirate based. Okay, we're good. Okay. By the way, we're currently watching another wrestling creator that I don't know this wrestling creator, so shout out to the wrestling creator. Black Couch Booking. AEW is too violent is not a genuine critique, and the hate is unwarranted now. How is AEW too violent not a genuine critique? It okay. I don't know. I see so many takes on here, and a lot of critics don't even watch the product to judge fairly. You don't have to watch like the full product to know when something is way too violent. You don't have to watch the whole product to know that it is way too violent. If you have a reaction to something that's like, yo, I don't want my kids to see this. I don't want to share this with my kids because you want, like, it's not so much of like coddling your kids or whatever. You don't want your kids to not eventually, I'm using the wrong words. You wouldn't want your kids to emulate what they see. Because essentially, if it is on cable television, it is access to everybody in a household. If it is on the internet, it is access to everybody on the internet. So saying that AEW is too violent is a genuine critique, and I haven't even started watching this yet. I haven't started watching this. Going back to the Yakuza game, I really think that the Yakuza game is highly successful in Japan more than it is in the States. That's why I was like, yo, I don't see anything about it. AEW is AEW. The blood and guts is fine. See, I like blood and guts. I like blood and guts when like it's not attempting to put somebody on fire for no reason. The poor storytelling week to week just shows Tony is not a great booker. And even if AEW is TV 14, that's totally fine. Like, regardless or not, if it's TV 14, that's fine, but it shouldn't go over that, Police your kids is what I say. When I was a child, it was my parents' job to not let me rent Faces of Death. I have no idea what Faces of Death is. Is that like a super horror movie? Like, I don't know. What is that? All right, so I don't know how this is gonna go, because even by just the title, I'm just like, it is a genuine critique. Okay.
Dude, what's going on, man? It's Black Couch Booking here with another video. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're old to the channel, please watch all of my old videos. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at Real Black Couch Booking on Instagram. That is my official Instagram page for my channel. Anyway, man, glad to have y'all here today on this lovely day, man. I want to get right into this video. So, this video wasn't really on my mind, but I've been seeing a lot of things that I find strange in the internet wrestling community, wrestling content creators, etc., etc., etc. And I just want to address it and leave it at that. And, I'm not going to address anybody, by name, because there's no need to. I barely even watch other content creators unless I know them or I want to work with them.
So yeah, let me put out a disclaimer that this is me giving a different perspective to like anything that I want to give a perspective to. I obviously don't know Black Couch booking, but this is, you know, we'll hear what he has to say.
So I'm not really, I'm not really tripping off that. But I will say, when it comes to this WWE versus AEW fan tribalism,
we're not doing that here. With the whole, if you can't handle AEW content that we have WWE, MLW, TNA, NWA, and other ones, like we're not doing that here. We're not doing that here. It's not about not being able to handle AEW. It's about that, like I said, because they have a TV deal and they're on a network, you know, that like it's watched by everybody. You know, there are rules to follow, there are foundations to follow. If it's way over the line, it's way over the line, and people have the right to like call that out. We're not saying for AEW to like be PG or anything like that. It's more like, dude, like be aware of what you're doing. There's no point to try and like kill each other, like actually kill each other, you know? Of course, people were going to be disgusted by ECW back in the day. I've said this before in my previous live stream that the TV, the television network is largely Christian based. And I don't like to bring in religion into like, you know, my live streams or even talking about that because that's not what we do here. But the television network is Christian family based. So of course people were going to be disgusted by ECW back in the day and be disgusted by, you know, all like the 90s stuff that like we survived through. But again, it's like, it shouldn't be super violent, like super violent, where people can emulate it and people look up to wrestlers and like that's their motto. That's like their like mentors and stuff. Like you just have to think about that. You have to think about the bigger picture and not about the small little picture that has nothing to do and will get nothing solved.
It's really kind of starting to piss me off a lot. And I don't get pissed off by much. I'm a very calm, chill, cool guy for the most part. But this is so disingenuous that it's like you're doing it for clicks, you're doing it for money, you're doing it for just a pander to your audience. If you're a WWE fan and you genuinely just watch WWE, that's absolutely fine. But you cannot call yourself a pro wrestling fan and you're giving unfair criticism to a company that's only been around for 5 years.
Okay, we got to stop using that. We got to stop using that. They've only been around for 5 years. Tony Khan is supposed to be this billionaire, but we still want to use the 5-year example as like a crutch to be like, oh my God, don't criticize them so much. You know what? I don't think this is a good idea to watch. I really don't. I really don't. Ronan, I appreciate you sending me it, but it's no, because the way that the landscape is today in 2024, and even with me giving my own perspective and like staying true to like how I answer stuff and how I give perspective on stuff, I could already see it, that it, you know, something might be taken out of context, because again, we got to stop using the clutch of, oh my God, they're 5 years. We can't criticize anything. We can't say this and that. And it's not, there are people in the community that do very disingenuous stuff. There are people in the community that abuse the click system because rent is due the next month. And we see this on Twitter all the time. But if you go out of that bubble and start looking at different creators and seeing how those other creators interact with the trolls and how they talk about wrestling and how they're passionate and how they want AEW to get better, that's a better way to talk about TNA. Oh my God, that's a better way to talk about TNA. That's a better way to talk about AEW without having to rely on all of the crutches that we use. Oh my God, it's 5 years old. We shouldn't say anything. We shouldn't talk about it. I bet you that when WWE was getting up there, when they were buying off the territories and all of the newspaper columns were printing out, they were probably saying the same stuff too that we're saying today. That, you know, all this stuff and like and whatnot. I just think that I stopped the video there because I could already know that it's not gonna work well. It really isn't. Because I have a whole different perspective, and the moment that anyone starts with that, people are like generalizing people to be disingenuous when it's like, if you don't watch other content creators, fine. But, you know, if you, you know, or if you spend like 45 minutes on Twitter, you can tell the difference if like you tailor the algorithm the right way. So I don't know. I just don't want to. You know what? I'll do that instead. I will do that. That is the link to the video that I stopped watching. You guys could go watch it if you want to, but I already know. I already know myself. Right? Right? If you read Uncle Dave, you could definitely say that you know, Tony Khan is the best booker. I've watched less AEW after the page swerve blood drinking. I don't even like that. Do not drink people's blood. You don't know what they have. Like, we know this. This is what I don't understand, is that like we came so far in medical and you still want to drink someone's blood, whether it's fake or not. Like, no. And the Bryan Danielson bag over the head. AEW still does not want to acknowledge it. I just think if parents don't like it, they need to parent better. That's true. That is completely true. I'm gonna agree with you that parents should parent better. Even Conan was saying that stuff. Tony is brand new at this. Listen, I'll listen. As much as I respect Conan and what he's done for the business, I'll still be like, bro, you can't. Like, he has money. He's able to change the tide of everything. Like, just because it's new. Like, if Tony Khan is a huge fan of professional wrestling and always says that the 90s are his favorite to watch, and he always wants to talk about the 90s this, the 90s that. He knows what to do and what not to do, but he just emulates stuff. And if Tony Khan wants to emulate stuff and let his guys emulate stuff from back in the 90s and like really huge ECW days and like deathmatch wrestling, then a kid watching it, whether AEW is TV 14 or not, and a kid is watching it, that kid might emulate it too because they don't know better, because they don't know how to act with society. So they're going to go and use it. Listen. If people have been studying professional wrestling for so long, they should know what not to do. I don't disagree with a lot of your sentiments. I just think TV 14 gives AEW too much leeway, and that is on the network. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's only like a guide. You know, it says TV 14, but like it's almost the same way of minors signing up to Instagram and signing up to Twitter, and these people are like really young, and you know, even though social media apps are like, yo, you either got to be like 14, 15 or like 18 to sign up, but like a 10-year-old having social media, 12-year-old having social media, like, that's what I'm getting at. Anybody can access cable television if their household has it. Anybody can access the internet if they have it. They shouldn't be there, but like, you know, like I wasn't crazy when WWE went PG-13, but once they figured it out, it worked for the benefits it worked to their benefits, forcing creativity. Yeah. That's the point. He had an Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and Regal there, and he never used their advice. Yep. All right. I guess the last thing is to see about this other video that Ronan sent in about Wardlow. Oh, Sportskeeda? I don't know, man. I'm not too fond of Sportskeeda. But AEW totally destroyed Wardlow. Like, AEW totally destroyed Wardlow. That's a 27-minute video. Well, you know what? I should say AEW and Wardlow himself destroyed Wardlow. So yeah. Wardlow is still with AEW. All right. So I am going to wrap up the stream because I think I've exhausted almost like everything. But I just want to make sure that fans understand that it is okay to talk about stuff in professional wrestling that should be talked about. AEW has a pacing problem. And it's really sad that we're going through something that should be having a story, right? Okay. I'm gonna put this like this because, okay, I could just take that out. Because I really do like how I did the graphic today, right? So I really believe that there is more to tell with the Young Bucks and Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, right? A lot of stuff could be integrated. A lot of stuff could be, brought back from the past for like New Japan days, because that's what these guys have in common. They have the indies in common. You could take from that as a source of inspiration, and you can definitely be like, well, let's make something of a long-term storytelling. You know, I said this before on my other live stream that now that the Young Bucks have the TV deal and they have to produce weekly television episodes, it's a lot more difficult for them to understand the formula to do what they need to do. With being the elite, it covered up their weaknesses in entertainment and storytelling, and being the elite was every month. So they could do all the indie shows, all of the New Japan tours, videotape everything, edit it, put it out into the YouTube world, and people will watch it and people will understand what's happening with the storylines on a month-to-month basis, or even out of like every 2 weeks, or try to however much was the frequency, right? So they were able to do that, but they cannot translate it for some reason to a weekly television show, and that might be because of Tony Khan wanting to take control of everything. But then again, Matt and Nick were never too much into like putting their foot down and being like, look, we got to do it this way because of X, Y, and Z, because they're trying to have a brand and whatnot, right? But instead they just, do petty stuff and do meta stuff in AEW. I think that there's a lot more story to be happening with the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Do we need Ospreay versus Ricochet for the 5-year anniversary? No, we really don't. It's too early. Will it raise ratings? Maybe. I don't know. If anything, Will Ospreay should have been like, yo, I'm hosting an open challenge, and here comes Ricochet. And by the way, Ricochet versus Ospreay should be a draft. A draft? It should end in a draw. Listen, I know I could talk. I know I got this. Tony has a good relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. You think he could get footage and build up? Good. I'm just gonna do this. Good. I really want Tony Khan to step away from having a relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, because man, is it bad. Anyway, but yeah, I really do think that like these stories should have a long-term effect. I don't think right now that Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher need a tag team title shot. They really don't. Somebody else needs a tag team title shot, such as Private Party. One of AEW's like day one tag teams. Private Party needs a tag team championship title. Private Party needs to carry those AEW tag team championship titles. Why do you keep putting them on the EVPs? Stop doing that. But yes, I do believe that Ospreay and Ricochet need their match to end in a draw. That what needs to happen at the 5-year anniversary. Other than that, everyone needs to learn how to do long-term storytelling for the sake and survival of AEW, as well as like good short-term storytelling. Yeah, WWE did show what a partnership could look like with AEW, with TNA. All right, I think I'm completely done because I am just messing up my words. I am so messing up my words. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tuning in on this Friday afternoon and celebrating with me. We are halfway there to get into the YouTube partner program, which I am excited about. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking the video. If you have not liked the video yet, please do so before you on your way out. No worries, Mike. I see you. Yeah, stay tuned to all my social media, such as Twitter @Marie_Shadows. Before everyone goes, if you have not joined the Discord, please join the Discord. Check out my merch. And if you want to leave me a tip or that's about it. Because if I end the stream and you guys buy me something to eat, it's not gonna work. Yeah, so join the Discord if you want to join the Discord. I'll have some updates there. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a live stream from yours truly, Marie Shadows, right here on Square Circle Podcast on YouTube and Marie_Shadows over on Twitch. Thank you so much for the conversations. I really, really enjoy it. Thank you for the likes, and I will see you guys on the next one.